I never thought I would face death under the harsh sun of this vast, scorching desert. And yet here I was, staring down an incredibly sharp blade. Could it be that I was about to die at the hands of this stranger? So do you have any last words before you die? Honestly, I did not want to die in a place like this. It just was not fair. In the empire of Grongwa, known as the ruler of the north, I had lived a life of luxury in a grand and opulent mansion, surrounded by fine furnishings and jewelry, dazzling gold and treasures of every kind. But none of that was what truly interested me. What I wanted most was the freedom to explore the vast world I had been born into, to enjoy its beauty and all the new things that always stirred my curiosity. Every time I set foot in a new land, the passion inside me burned brighter. That was how my journey began. I had explored everywhere, from the ancient ruins in the north to the settlements of the Fen people in Siberia. Before I knew it, I had set foot in every nation on the northern continent. After that, I turned my sights to the southern continent. To reach a southern country called Cretia, I had to cross a vast desert. But nothing turned out to be as simple as I had imagined. Under the scorching, bone-dry heat of the desert, I kept struggling to find my way. I had been lost out here for an entire week, unable to tell one direction from another, since all I could see around me was sand. Worse still, I did not have a single drop of water left. In the middle of that dire situation, the girl suddenly spotted something in the distance. Is that a person? Without thinking twice, she ran toward it and called out, "Excuse me, please forgive the intrusion." Wait, hold on a moment. She ran up to them, panting for breath. Seeing a stranger rushing toward them, the three men immediately braced themselves warily. Ha! Thank goodness, this is not a mirage. Actually, I just wanted to ask something. Do any of you know the way to Cretia? In answer to her question, a sharp blade was leveled straight at her face. Back in the present, the girl winced in fear. Oh my goodness, I only asked for directions. Why is he so brutal that he would hold a sword to my throat? Does he have some enemy in Cretia? If that is true, then I am done for. Boo-hoo. What? Do you have any last words? If not, then farewell. Wait a moment, I have not even said my last words yet. Please lower your sword, you cannot kill me, the cold-faced young man replied. And why not? Seeing his utterly merciless attitude, she thought to herself, is there no other way but this? There is no other choice left. I will just have to risk it. She pulled off the hood of her cloak, then boldly declared, because I am the most beautiful woman on this continent. Hey, I will use my beauty to charm him, the young man asked, taken aback. I am sorry, what did you just say? She placed a hand on her chest and answered with utter confidence. In my humble opinion, every nation has a duty to protect beautiful women. Protecting a beauty is only natural, is it not? Huh? Am I wrong? The three young men just stared at her, at a loss for words. Ha! That is quite the joke, little lady. So those were your last words? Farewell, then. Once again, he raised his sword, then brought it down in one decisive strike. Damn it, I have to dodge this, or I will really be done for. Just as the blade came swinging down, she quickly stepped aside, narrowly escaping death by a hair's breadth. Oh my goodness, that was close. I almost got sliced in half. Is this man out of his mind? Hey, you cannot just go swinging your sword around like that. What kind of person has such a short temper? That has got to be against the law. The young man replied coldly, What law? There is no such law. Killing someone does not need a law to justify it. By the end of today, one of us will die and the other will live. That is all there is to it. His eyes were so full of killing intent, so terrifying, like the blazing summer sun itself. Would he only be satisfied once I was dead? Suddenly, the young man slowly stepped closer and stared straight at her. Why is he coming closer? Is he going to kill me now? His hand touched her cheek, gently tilting her face up as he studied every feature of it. Why is he looking at me like that? Has my beauty finally worked on him? Why is he examining me so closely all of a sudden? The young man let out a mocking laugh. Ha! So exactly where is it that you are supposed to be beautiful? Is that what you call stunning? What? Is he mocking my looks? I had planned to kill you right away, but now I have changed my mind. So you should be grateful that I am sparing your life, girl. Scene change at a towering structure. The girl's exhausted breathing under the scorching sun. Where am I? Have I been kidnapped? It is so hot. I am so thirsty. Is anyone there? Suddenly, a soldier carrying a bucket of water walked over. Before she could say a word, he dumped the entire bucket of water on her. Here is the water you asked for. Be grateful for it. Let us see how long you can withstand this scorching heat. Damn it. Well, at least I feel a little better now. That splash of water helped clear my head. Now I should figure out where exactly I am and what is going on here. This prison was built right in the center of the city, where the sun beats down the hardest. Judging by how they treat prisoners here and the way the people outside carry themselves, this can only be the kingdom known as the ruler of the desert, Pezion. My homeland Grongwa rules the north. Meanwhile, Pezion rules the south, a nation that occupies most of the southern desert, and one that has been Grongwa's sworn enemy for generations. That is exactly why, whenever I traveled the southern continent, I always avoided Pezion. It would cause nothing but trouble if anyone here recognized me. And yet, who would have thought I would end up here after losing my way in the desert? But this is no time to feel sorry for myself. This prison was built to torture inmates with deadly heat. I am not used to the climate here, and sooner or later my body will not be able to take it. So I have made my preparations. First, I need to get out of here. A moment later, the faint click and rattle of a lock being picked echoed out. That sound brought back old memories. Long ago, I inherited my beauty from my mother, especially her stunning platinum hair that shimmered like moonlight. Every day, she would brush my hair and care for me down to the smallest detail. She always wanted me to grow up to be a distinguished young lady. Every time I sneaked out to play, she would fly into a rage and lock me up at home. But I was no pushover either. I was not about to sit still and take it, so I always found a way to slip out. Thanks to that, a lock like this one is nothing to me now. Thank you, Mother, for turning me into a master of escape. From being locked up over and over and escaping each time, I built up my stamina during my confinement and picked up 100 different escape tricks along the way. That is what made me stronger and more experienced, and it has helped me tremendously on my travels. Whoosh, I am out. A prison is no place for a beautiful girl like me. First, to avoid drawing attention and being recognized as a foreigner, I need to change into clothes like the locals wear here. Women here have to keep their faces covered, otherwise they are accused of trying to seduce men. What a strange custom. Hey, but this will actually come in handy for my escape. In a bustling, glittering corner of the city. The sight of it filled her with curiosity. Everything here was so new and unfamiliar. I once read in a book that Pezion is a resilient kingdom built out of sand. Even though it is at odds with Grongwa, I still wanted to set foot here at least once. And yet, who would have guessed I would end up lost and captured here instead? Well, at least the air here is truly hot, the buildings are built from sand, and the people belong to an entirely different culture. My heart feels like it is about to burst. I am so thrilled. This place is even more fascinating than what I read in books. It is like stepping into a whole new world. Right? This is exactly why I love to travel. Thank you, oh great goddess Lermisa. Hooray, I am so happy right now. Oh no, I forgot I am in a crowded place. I got carried away with excitement. I need to be careful and hold back, or I will get caught again. What should I do next? Maybe I should find a place to stay and rest. But first, I need to fill my stomach with something. I am starving. And then, ta-da, a delicious grilled meat skewer. Wow, this meat looks so juicy and delicious. I have to eat this right away, thank you for the meal. Before she could even take a bite, her eyes suddenly caught something, startling her so badly that she dropped the skewer. She was overcome with panic and gasped inwardly. I cannot believe this, why is he here? How is that cold, brutal man here of all places? Those blood-red eyes are turned toward me. Has he noticed me? In a panic, she quickly pulled her veil back over her face. I need to stay calm. I have already covered my face. Besides, it is crowded here too. He will not recognize me. That must be it. I just need to hurry and get out of here. Why do I keep feeling this heavy, menacing presence right behind me? Wait, is he following me? Behind her, the young man slowly drew closer. She dared to slowly turn around to check. In an instant, he had appeared and now stood right in front of her, close enough to touch. Startled, she quickly tried to slip away. It is over. Has he spotted me? Still sensing nothing amiss, she curiously stole a glance. She turned to look closer, and a pair of deadly, bullet-sharp eyes was staring straight at her. Suddenly, he grabbed her by the waist and pulled her close. I saw you. You slipped out of that prison like a little rat. Tell me right now, how did you manage to escape? Under the pressure of his fierce expression, all the color drained from her face. She trembled, stammering, unable to get a word out. Suddenly, a voice called out from behind, Sihat? A blue-haired man rushed over with a group of soldiers trailing him and asked, Is something wrong, my lord? The young man glanced at them coldly, then tossed the girl toward his subordinate and said, I will head back to the palace first. So I am leaving this girl in your hands. Uma, you had better not disappoint me. Uma bowed respectfully. As you command, my lord. And so she was dragged off by 2 soldiers. What in the world is going on? What is going to happen to me now? Is he not going to kill me after all? Oh God. Oh God, please help me, someone save me, I am going to die, oh no. Back at the palace, Sihat told the blue-haired man about the girl who had broken out of prison. The blue-haired man spoke up. I had already suspected something like this back in the desert, but she is nothing like an ordinary woman. He recalled to himself, her manner, her appearance, even her clothing, it all spoke volumes. Then he offered a suggestion. My lord Sihat, why not make use of her? Sihat asked, puzzled. Make use of her, how so? Yes, my lord. From what I can tell, she behaves crudely, but the way she speaks and carries herself is far from ordinary. I believe she is the daughter of some noble family from the north. Sihat looked surprised. Oh, a noble from the north, you say? The blue-haired man answered firmly. Yes, my lord. That is what my instincts tell me. Why not try to coax some information about the kingdom of Grongwa out of her? Who knows? You might learn something about the relationship between Grongwa and Kretia. Sihat pondered for a moment before speaking. And then what? Yes, please go on, my lord. I will have her join my harem. That afternoon, at the palace of Pezion, a maid came looking for the girl. My lady, please follow me. Along the way, she could not help but marvel at the grandeur and splendor of the architecture surrounding her. Where on earth am I? This place is enormous. A short while later, the maid led her to a massive door. As the door swung open, 3 other maids stood lined up, ready to welcome her. The moment she stepped inside, a gleam flashed in their eyes as they turned toward her. Before she knew what was happening, they had already seized her by the clothes and pulled her in. They stripped every last piece of clothing off her body. Ah, stop touching me. Why are you all doing this to me? Please, stop this right now. She had barely managed to grab a cloth to cover herself before they dragged her along again. Ahead of her stood an enormous bathing pool. Before she could even grasp the situation, she was shoved into the water without a shred of mercy, sending her sprawling face first into it. Then they pinned her down, scrubbing and washing every inch of her body. Still shaken from her fall, she thought, you could have at least given me a warning first. Ha, whatever, what else could I expect after being dragged here? After the bath was finished, her body was clean and fragrant, her hair smooth and glossy. A maid brought her some clothes and said, please put this on now. The girl protested a little. Oh my goodness, you actually expect me to wear this? In a luxurious chamber, Sihat was leaning back, enjoying some rest, recalling the girl's face and everything that had happened with her. Her sharp remarks and her sheer charm made him smile faintly to himself. My lord Sihat, it looks like something has put you in a good mood. Indeed. I just caught myself quite an interesting little rat. No, wait, more like a cat. Back with the girl, she was grumbling in irritation about the outfit from earlier. Seriously, why would there be such an outfit for women in the first place? My stomach is completely exposed here, she thought to herself. If I refuse to wear it, those people will probably just knock me out and dress me themselves. Oh no, now that I think of it, where did my bag of belongings go? Did they steal it while I was changing? This is not good. My map, my money, my clothes, and even those photos of handsome men are all in there. More importantly, my notebook is in there too. I cannot go anywhere without it. It is the one thing that proves my identity in case of an emergency while traveling. Oh no, how am I ever going to find my bag again in a place this huge? But at least I still have this one important item left. It is an earring imbued with magical power. It keeps my hair and eyes brown, and if it ever disappears, my eyes will turn red, and my hair will turn platinum. Thanks to this pair of earrings, I have been able to travel anywhere without fear of my identity being exposed. While she was still lost in thought about how to get her bag back, the maid came to hurry her along. My lady, what are you waiting for? Please follow me. Where is she taking me this time? My lady, this way, please. Why does this feel so unsettling? She is leading me deeper and deeper inside. Where in the world are we even going? While she was still wondering about that, she was brought before an extremely elegant chamber. The maid explained, "This is where you will be staying, in the harem." Oh, this room is spacious and beautiful. The decor is quite impressive, too. Wait, hold on. What do you mean, harem? Did you just say harem? Yes, my lady, that is correct. Do not tell me that is the place where a man keeps many women he fancies and can do whatever he pleases with them. Yes, that is exactly right. The moment it dawned on her, she nearly fainted on the spot. They just threw me into a harem? Is this place insane? I would rather be locked in prison than this. It is all his fault, that vile, wicked man. What a waste of a handsome face. Get up now, my lady. The floor is cold. Being chosen for the harem is a great honor. You should be happy about it. Hearing those words, she grew even more resentful. Are you kidding me right now? Wake up, a man should only ever have one woman. I have been thrown into a place where some foolish man keeps countless women. And you call that an honor? You will be treated like nothing more than a plaything. That is not fair. You need to wake up and see it. Scolded so harshly, the maid blushed with embarrassment and replied, Why is it not fair? I would be overjoyed if my lord Sihat treated me like his plaything. Heh heh. Hearing that, she could only sigh helplessly. Arguing with her is pointless. It is like talking to a wall. Everyone here has clearly been brainwashed. Refusing to accept her fate, she buried her face in the bed and wept. Please save me, O great goddess Lermesa. Wait, something feels off here. Now that I think about it, why is it so quiet here? Where are all the other women? The maid answered honestly, Oh, that is because you are Era, the one and only woman in the harem. The girl asked in astonishment. Era? I am the only woman in the entire harem? In a reception hall at the palace, a soldier announced, My lord Sihat, the supreme chieftain of Dara has arrived. Sihat gave the order, then led him in. A man stepped forward and bowed with solemn respect. My deepest respects, my lord. I am Yaleen of the Dara tribe. Sihat found it curious. So what brings Chieftain Yaleen here? I will not hide it from you, Sihat. I heard you had just returned from the Ismail Oasis, so I came to pay my respects. Sihat sat enjoying some ripe pomegranates, listening to his idle chatter. Now that I think of it, I heard you recently brought a pale-skinned woman into your harem. I know slaves used to be allowed into the harem as well. But I hear you know nothing about this lowly woman's background, so why would you give her such an important position? You have no idea how surprised I was. I am afraid the rumors about your incompetence must be true after all. Before he could finish speaking, he froze in sudden terror. Sihat had crushed the pomegranate in his hand and turned toward him with a gaze burning with fury. How dare you insult me like that, Yaleen? He looked as though he might die of fright, trembling as he realized he had angered the wrong man. Sihat's killing intent was so overwhelming, it felt like it might snuff the life right out of him. Yaleen hastily tried to defend himself. I only said that out of concern for you, my lord. Sihat replied in a low voice. Concern? I do not need your concern. Get out of my sight. He scurried out in a panic, not daring to look back even once. Sihat let out a mocking laugh and licked the pomegranate juice still lingering on his hand, murmuring to himself, Next time you dare defy me, you will find out exactly what happens. Back at the harem, the sky had already darkened. The girl lay sprawled miserably on the bed, sulking. This time I have really landed myself in a desperate situation. It is just not fair. All I wanted was to see the desert, so how did I end up in a mess like this? Ugh. But moping around like this is not who I am. I need to snap out of it and think straight. I have to find some way to escape. I refuse to become the wife of that insufferable man. I have not even seen his face properly yet. I have even escaped from the most notorious prison of the Fen people up in the north without breaking a sweat. So getting out of this place should be just as easy. But right now, there are two rather tricky problems. First, I have lost my bag of important belongings. Even if I manage to leave this place, I cannot cross that vast desert without my supplies, or I might get lost out there and die. Especially my notebook. That is a level 999 travel permit. It represents my parents' authority and lets me pass through important routes while traveling. Without it, I cannot move freely even in the north, let alone here in the south, so I absolutely have to get it back. The second problem is my earrings. The enchantment on them cannot hold its power forever. I need to release the magic and let these earrings rest for a week, otherwise they will be damaged. By my calculations, they can only keep working for one more week, so I only have that 1 week left to make my escape. What I need to do right now is scout this area and figure out the layout around me. It is time to head outside. Under the night sky, moonlight shimmered brilliantly over the palace of Pezion. The sight filled her with curiosity. The moon in Pezion glows white, while back in the north it always looks golden. Wait, why is this place so huge? It is practically as large as the imperial palace itself. What is more, all the buildings here are connected in a very systematic way. There is no breaking in and no easy way to slip out either. The spot where I am standing is at the very heart of it all, so escaping will be far harder than I imagined. Why would he choose to live in a place like this? Just who exactly is he? First, I need to figure out what that building over there is. A moment later, somewhere within the Imperial Palace. After weaving and dodging past the patrolling guards, the girl landed on the ground like a superhero. It looks like there is no one around here. I wonder what this place is used for. Given how eye-catching the design is, this must belong to someone with tremendous power. Let me go check out that garden over there. Then suddenly she heard the sound of someone splashing in water. As she crept closer, she froze in astonishment, because right in front of her was a man with a beautifully built, muscular body, bathing. Driven by her weakness for handsome men, her sheer curiosity, she decided to hide behind a bush to see who it was. It is so late already, why would anyone be out in the garden at this hour? I wonder who that is. Looking more closely, she was stunned, completely unable to believe her eyes. The handsome man bathing there under the moonlight was none other than Sihat, the very man who had landed her in this whole miserable situation. Recognizing him, she flinched and pulled back, trembling with fear. Oh no, why does it have to be that madman again? This is already the second time I have run into him. I need to get out of here fast, but it might already be too late. A shadow had appeared right behind her. Acting like a frightened little rat again, are we? Caught red-handed, she felt her heart nearly leap out of her chest as she froze in place. Before she could even collect herself, Sihat grabbed her and tossed her straight into the water. He then demanded, "What are you doing here? Do you have some kind of hobby for peeping on people? Or are you a spy?" She quickly denied it. I was not peeping at all, and I am definitely not a spy either. Besides, who exactly are you? Why would you kidnap a woman in broad daylight without so much as a word of explanation? Do you think you can just grab whoever you please? In this place, I can do anything I want. She bristled at his arrogance. Huh, and who exactly are you? A god? Or the emperor of this place? Sihat replied, "Well, if I were the emperor of this country, would you behave yourself and keep quiet then?" Hearing the sheer confidence in his tone, she was caught completely off guard. Huh? What did you say? Before she could ask anything more, Sihat pressed closer to her and introduced himself. My name is Sihat Zenbeta, and I am also the ruler of this kingdom of Pezion. She was stunned. Wait, you are the Jiakun, the living god of Pezion? Sihat smirked with satisfaction. I am relieved that you at least know what the title Jiakun means. While the girl was still reeling from learning his true identity, he stepped closer to her, clearly about to do something. A shrill scream rang out, shattering the tranquil stillness of the Imperial Palace. Ah, what in the world are you doing? Put me down right now. Please put me down. She thrashed about like a cat being carried against its will. How could he be so rough with a beautiful girl like her? He was going to pay for this. What is going on here? Where is he taking me? Sihat carried her to a certain room. He then threw her onto the bed without hesitation and began his interrogation. You are a spy sent by Grongwa, are you not? She thought to herself, no matter what, I must hide the fact that I live in Grongwa. Then she calmly replied, I come from the northern continent, but I do not live in Grongwa, and I am not a spy like you claim. Then why did you want to go to Kretia? I only went there to travel and explore. I am nothing but an innocent tourist. I am not lying. Please believe me. Sensing that her tone and words seemed genuine, Sihat decided to trust her for the time being. Fine then. But tell me, are you trying to seduce me right now? What do you mean by that? And why is he staring at my body like that? Suddenly, she realized something. The outfit she was wearing had been thin and revealing from the start, missing fabric in more than a few places. And now, soaked through with water, it could no longer hide any of her sensitive areas. Sihat leaned in even closer, making her cry out in a panic. What are you staring at? He pushed her down onto the bed and said, Earlier, did you not claim yourself to be beautiful? She suddenly remembered. Oh, right. Back then I had to say that so he would not cut me down on the spot. But did you not laugh at me and say I was not pretty back then? Please, back away from me. Sihat gazed at her thoughtfully and said, Let me add something to what I said earlier. I still do not know whether you are beautiful or not, but you do have a very lovely pair of eyes. The air in the room suddenly grew more intimate. The only sound left was the soft rhythm of their breathing. Sihat slowly leaned in toward her lips. His sudden kiss left her unable to resist. She could only close her eyes tightly and accept it. Moonlight filtering in from outside made the moment feel even sweeter. And so Sihat began kissing her more and more fervently, their heartbeats pounding in unison. Why is he being so intense? If I do not do something, I am going to be in real danger. She struggled to regain control against Sihat's overwhelming advance. Let go of me, hurry. Noticing her faint, half-hearted resistance, he gently loosened his hold on her, then smiled softly against her lips and said, Welcome to my harem. O mysterious stranger from beyond this kingdom. The next morning at the harem, a maid arrived to tidy and decorate the room, but the girl was still fast asleep in bed. Hearing a noise nearby, she was jolted awake. Rubbing her eyes as she woke, she asked, who are you? The maid answered cheerfully, Oh, you are awake. My name is Noor, and from today onward, I will be your personal attendant. It is truly an honor to meet you, Ira. The girl nodded. I understand. Nice to meet you. Could it be that Sihat sent a maid to keep an eye on me because I sneaked out yesterday? Noor lifted her hand admiringly. Oh, I heard that people with pale skin are so beautiful. You must not be from Petsion. That is right. But why does everyone call me Ira? What does it even mean? The maid replied with a warm smile. It means the Jiakun's woman, someone who has become a cherished consort and is granted the privilege of serving my lord Sihat. Congratulations to you. She thought helplessly. What, do not tell me I am supposed to serve him too. Say, can I ask you something? I am your servant, so there is no need for you to speak so formally with me. All right then. So that means wherever I go, you will follow along too? She thought. If this woman keeps tailing me everywhere, escaping will be much harder. Noor answered while pouring tea. Not exactly. I am only here to help you. If you ever find me a bother or are not satisfied with me, just send me away. Oh, I see. Well, what a relief. That means I can plan my escape after all. Oh, this tea is delicious too. If there is nothing else, please rest now. Do call for me if you need anything. Thank you. After the maid left, the girl sat on the bed, lost in worry. I truly cannot believe it. I have become the Jiakun's woman. Unlike in Grongwa, where people worship the invisible goddess Lermesa, in Petsion, their god is also the very ruler of the country. That god brings water to barren lands and deserts alike, helping plants bloom and bear fruit. And he is called the Jiakun. Here, the Jiakun is not merely a king, but holds authority over every aspect of the nation, from the economy and politics to culture and society. He is worshipped as a living god of this land. Thinking of this, she sighed. I had no idea he was the Jiakun. Suddenly, she recalled last night, when Sihat had pinned her down and kissed her so fiercely it left her flustered and blushing. She clenched her trembling hand, seething with frustration. So what if he is a king? That does not mean he can do whatever he wants. This whole thing genuinely worries me. Not to mention that was my very first kiss. I hope he trips and falls flat on his face somewhere. What an absolute jerk. Scene change. On a balcony somewhere in the Imperial Palace, Sihat sat on the railing listening to the blue-haired man's report. My lord, in short, Gedik shows no signs of anything unusual. He has no idea that we have been tracking his every move. What would you like us to do? Sihat answered calmly. Just leave him be for now. Let us see how long he can keep up that composure of his. Behind him, a young guard gestured discreetly, trying to remind him of something. The woman. Ask him about the new woman who joined the harem. He turned back and reported. My lord Sihat. Oh, is there something else? My lord, it is about the new woman who recently joined the harem. In my opinion, that was a rather rash decision. Pleasure is fleeting, but a change like this is permanent. And after what happened that day, the harem has. Before he could finish, Sihat's eyes flashed with murderous intent, his expression twisting with fury. The blue-haired man panicked. Please forgive me, your majesty. I misspoke. The young guard quickly stepped in to explain the whole matter. My lord, none of this is his fault. The Grand Chancellor is unhappy about this whole affair. He has always wanted his own daughter to enter the harem. On top of that, there are 6 senior chieftains and 48 generals as well. They are all vying to have their own daughters become the next era. Sihat fell silent for a moment, thinking it over, then gave an order. I want to learn more about that woman. Bring her to me. Back with our heroine. While she was enjoying a delicious meal, she was startled when Noor came rushing in with news. Ira, my lord Sihat is summoning you right now, but I am still eating. The maid gave an awkward smile. You really must go right away. Otherwise, I am afraid he might. On the way there, she vented her frustration. Seriously, I was in the middle of a nice relaxed meal and now I am being summoned. Ugh, I did not even get to finish a single sip of my milk tea. Why would he suddenly call for me out of nowhere? Besides, why do I have to go running every single time he calls? What am I, his pet? Fine then, Your Majesty. I am coming. What a jerk. Ira, we have arrived. As the door swung open, Sihat sat waiting, stern and composed, upon his throne. I have escorted Ira here as per your orders, my lord. If there is nothing else, I will take my leave. The girl jolted in fear. Wait, hold on. Why are you leaving me here alone? Do not go. Please stay. Who knows what kind of mischief he is going to pull on me this time? Well, I am here now, but it is so embarrassing to look him straight in the eye. How much longer do you plan to avoid me? And also, how was your first night in the harem? She silently cursed inside. Ha, this shameless jerk. Fine, if you want to play games, I will play right along. Then she answered with a sly, forced smile. I am not avoiding you, my lord. I was just getting a little prepared, that is all. And thanks to you, I had a wonderful night indeed. What about you, though, my Gia-kun? Sihat stood up and said, If you like my harem so much, why do I not just let you live there for the rest of your life? What do you think? Her face stiffened, and though she kept up a forced smile on the outside, inside she was fuming. Is this the Emperor's idea of a joke? I am very grateful for your offer, but I must decline. He slowly stepped closer to her. Yesterday you were like a wild cat, but today you are strangely obedient. Are you plotting something? Having said that, Sihat took hold of her hand. He thought to himself, her hand really is soft. Nasir was right, she does behave crudely, but the way she speaks, her looks, and even her presence are all far from ordinary. I believe she really could be the daughter of some northern noble family. So then why did you come to Credia? Under his pressure, she panicked and stammered out an answer. Did I not already tell you I was simply traveling? Sihat looked at her with a deadly stare. If you dare say that word again, I will seal your lips shut for good. Faced with Sihat's threat, her face turned pale with fear. There it was again, that same cold gaze and expression. Every time he looked at her like that, it felt as though he could see straight through to her very core. The way his eyes swept over her from head to toe stirred a feeling she had never experienced before. But amid all this confusion, one thing was certain. Her instincts were screaming at her to stay far away from this man. She stepped back and answered, I heard the iced sweet soup there is really delicious. It is the famous specialty of Cretia. That is why I wanted to go there. I also wanted to see what the desert houses looked like. Yeah. Damn it, I had a million reasons ready, but now I cannot remember a single one. Sihat clenched his jaw and said in a low voice, That is absurd. You crossed the desert of death for a reason like that. No one in this world would ever do such a thing. The girl froze, stunned. The desert of death, you say? So that is what that desert is called. Outside, a servant rushed in to announce, My Lord Gia-kun, please forgive the interruption, but your secretary has arrived. A secretary? Oh, it is him. I recognize this man. It is the blue-haired man from the other day. My savior has arrived. Thank goodness he interrupted this interrogation, or Sihat would have had me completely cornered. My lord, I have come because you summoned me, but should I step back for now? No need. Come in, go ahead and greet each other. This is my secretary. His name is Nasir. And anyway, what is your name? She silently cursed. Oh my goodness. Only now does he finally think to ask my name? What a jerk. My name is Asuna. Nasir gave a friendly smile. It is truly an honor to see you again, Lady Asuna. I almost did not recognize you, since you are wearing new clothes today. You look absolutely beautiful. My Lord Gia-kun must be quite pleased indeed. Asina laughed with full confidence. Hehe, of course I am the most beautiful woman there is. Sihat thought to himself, I cannot believe she can still talk like that in a situation like this. Ha, take her away. Asina grumbled in irritation. Why does he keep ordering me around from place to place like this? While she was still muttering in annoyance, Nasir turned to face her. Sihat's gaze quietly signaled something to his trusted secretary. Rewinding a little too before that moment. That woman is likely quite afraid of me. She refused to tell the truth when I questioned her. She does not seem like the type who would confess just because she is threatened. So you should try coaxing the truth out of her instead. Look into her background. Yes, my lord. Back in the present, in a study room, Asina was required to cover her face whenever meeting another man. Nasir pulled out a chair and offered her a seat. Then he picked up pen and paper and began his questioning. You said you are not from Grongwa. So, tell me, where are you from? Asina answered cleverly. I am from Sigrin. It is a small principality southeast of the Grongwa border. Nasir asked, puzzled. Oh, really? I had no idea such a kingdom even existed. Well, it is probably just so small that few people know of it. She thought to herself, actually, right after leaving Grongwa, I did pass through Sigrin, so this is not entirely a lie. By the way, may I ask you something? Yes, of course, go ahead. About the place where I was captured, why is it called the Desert of Death? Nasir explained. Ah, so you mean the Death Desert of Jiaja? That is because that desert cannot hold on to a single drop of water even when it rains. So you will never find a water source anywhere in it. And since the wind constantly shifts the terrain, it is extremely easy to get lost there. On top of such harsh conditions, you would die if you were stranded there for even a few days. Many explorers have lost their lives that way, and entire exiled clans have perished in Jiaja as well. That is why it earned the name the Desert of Death. I see, no wonder I did not see a single soul out there in the desert. There are also plenty of rumors that the place is cursed, but I do not put much stock in rumors like that. Honestly, I still cannot tell whether this woman is telling the truth or not. It seems I will have to test her. By the way, Lady Asina, are you aware that Cretia and Pezion are currently enemies? Asina replied, No, I did not know that. All I know is that Cretia was founded by people who opposed the establishment of Pezion. But I had no idea the relationship between the two nations was this bad. Nasir went on to explain further. Recently, there has been a conflict between Cretia and Pezion, which is why tensions with Cretia have been rising by the day. So it seems Lady Asina here is not aware of the current situation, is that right? She quietly pieced things together and said, Oh well, I suppose news from the south always reaches those of us up north a few years late. Now I understand why I was treated like a prisoner. She recalled everything. Of all people, I had to go and ask a nation's own emperor for directions to a country that is his enemy. And on top of that, I broke out of prison too. Now I understand why everyone here keeps suspecting me. I should really be grateful they only threw me in a cell. Now it is my turn to ask you something. Speaking of the desert, should your guide not have advised you to go around it instead of crossing straight through? Everyone from the north takes that route to reach Cretia. Asina replied, I know, they did point me toward that route, but I refused it. If that is the case, I understand even less. You chose to cross the desert and gamble with your own life? Well, based on everything she has told me so far, I still cannot tell whether she is being honest or not. But this time, I will be able to tell if she is lying about her reason for crossing the desert. Now then, show me what you are hiding behind that lovely mask of yours. Asina calmly settled in and began recounting her experiences. On the northern continent, the color of the mountains changes with every season, and the grasslands are always lush and green. But the one thing we do not have is an ocean made of sand. That is why I always wanted to see the desert with my own eyes at least once. Nasir was quite taken aback by her words. Having been born in Pezion and raised in this barren desert, he had never once felt that way about it himself. So what did you think after actually seeing the desert? Asina grew visibly excited as she recalled that feeling, answering warmly. The desert was even more magnificent than I had imagined. Honestly, it was so beautiful that I completely forgot I was standing under a sun that could burn my skin off. So I was quite surprised to hear that such a magnificent place is called the Desert of Death. Nasir smiled, sensing something in her words. I see. I think you might be the only person in this whole world who would call the desert beautiful, Lady Asina. There is no denying that this woman is telling the truth. The look in her eyes alone proves it. Could you take a look at this, Lady Asina? Oh, this is my bag. Yes, we inspected everything inside, and we will return anything that is not suspicious. As for the items that need further investigation, I am afraid we will have to hold on to those. Asina reassured herself silently. Well, that should be fine then. The notebook is the most important item, and it already has a protective enchantment cast on it. And with that, Nasir stood up and announced, That concludes today's questioning. I suspect we will be seeing a lot more of each other from now on, my lady. Asina laughed it off politely, but inwardly she told herself that she would not be staying here much longer to see him so often. A short while later in Nasir's study, Oh, Karim, you have arrived. I have a task for you. From now on, I want you to guard the harem. A woman has recently been brought there." Karim frowned, displeased. "What are you talking about? I am a proper personal guard of the Jiakun." A brief introduction to those known as the Jiakun's personal guards. They are powerful desert warriors. Since they have no other way to survive in this barren land, some among these warriors are assigned to serve the Jiakun directly, regardless of which clan they come from. These warriors are called the Emperor's personal guards, also known by a similar title, Tamer, and Karim is the strongest among them. Back to the scene, Karim was grumbling in irritation about this new assignment. He refused to accept having to guard a lowly foreign woman when all he wanted was to serve the Jiakun. Nasir answered smoothly, "You do not seem too pleased about this, do you? Who is she? And why is she important enough that I would send you to protect her? There are quite a few suspicious things about her. Her reason for coming to the desert is still unclear. The belongings she carried are suspicious too. It makes no sense for her to be traveling alone." Karim clenched his fist and answered angrily, "I do not understand this at all. If she is so suspicious, why not just kill her and be done with it? Yes, that is a fair point, but I do not think she is a spy. That in itself is strange, is it not? Besides, this is not just my order, it comes from my Lord Sihat himself. I believe there is a reason behind it. He is the one who just brought her into the harem." "Are you planning to defy his order, Karim?" At the harem, Asina lay sprawled across the bed, lost in thought. She was thinking about that secretary Nasir from earlier. He seems like a decent person. I wonder if he actually believes I am an explorer. Given the way I have been acting this whole time, it would honestly be stranger if he did not suspect me of being a spy. Grungwa and Credia are allies, but both nations are enemies of Pezion. If my identity is exposed after admitting that I was headed to Credia, both my family and Grungwa would suffer severe consequences. Of course, I know my parents would not be easily brought down by a conflict like this, but no matter what, I do not want to cause them any trouble. Father has always supported my desire to travel and have adventures, while Mother truly loves me. Even though she can be a bit strict, I have already caused them enough worry as it is, so I do not want this to affect them any further. Ugh, what should I do? While she was still lost in thought, a knock sounded at the door. "May I come in, Lady Asina? Is something wrong? Newer?" "Oh, my lady, His Majesty's guard will be coming to protect you here." A guard? Is he not already serving under him? Just let him in." Before she could even finish speaking, he suddenly burst in and marched straight toward Asina, then stopped in front of her bed and began looking at her with a scornful expression. Karim frowned inwardly, thinking, why would someone so unimpressive be here of all places? Asina, for her part, could clearly see that his expression held not a trace of goodwill toward her. "I am already used to this kind of reaction. Plenty of places are not exactly welcoming toward foreigners. In a situation like this, I need to act polite. It is a real pleasure to meet you. Please forgive me, but I have no time to keep my face covered. I am afraid I am not yet used to the customs here. I hope you can be understanding with me." Haha. Faced with Asina's overly sweet act, Karim felt somewhat confused. What is this? I heard she had broken out of prison, so I expected her to seem tougher than this. How could someone with such a frail-looking body have escaped from that notorious prison? And on top of that, she made it all the way here from the northern continent. Maybe I was wrong to keep staring at this woman so intently. Please forgive my rudeness. I am Karim. And I am Asina. If it is not too much trouble, I would rather you call me by my name instead of Era. Karim gave a small, respectful bow and replied, "Yes, my lady, from now on. I will be standing guard right outside. Please call for me if you need anything." With that, he strode off at once to take up his post outside. Suddenly, she felt uneasy. Now, on top of Newer, another person had appeared to keep an eye on her. Escaping this place was only going to get harder from here. Ugh, this is so stressful. I should probably go for a walk instead of just sitting here doing nothing. Let me go see how the palace is laid out first. While she strolled happily along, a voice suddenly rang out, freezing her in place. "Where are you off to?" Asina jolted and spun around. A gaze full of tenderness from Sihat left her utterly unnerved. Seeing Sihat slowly approaching, Asina could only stiffen up, thinking to herself, "Oh my goodness, why does this man keep showing up wherever I go? He is at the very bottom of the list of people I want to run into. And yet here he is again." Feeling irritated, Asina snapped, "Hey, stop staring at me like that. I already know I am acting suspiciously." Oh, so you have only just now realized you look suspicious. Unbelievable. So, why are you here anyway? Sihat chuckled softly. Well, am I not allowed into my own harem? Asina shot back. Huh, that is not what I meant. What is the real reason? Why are you here? If this is about investigating me, Nasir has surely already reported everything back to you. Sihat tapped his chin, striking a thoughtful pose like some kind of romantic hero, and replied, I suppose it is simply because I wanted to see you. Hearing that, Asina's face went completely blank with shock, and she stammered awkwardly, Look here, I mean, my lord Jia-kun, have you lost your mind? Seeing her flustered yet oddly endearing expression, Sihat smiled quietly to himself. His face flushed slightly as he thought, whenever I am around this woman, I never feel bored for even a moment. In the eyes of everyone who ever looks at me, there is usually nothing but reverence, or else fear. But this woman is different. She carries neither of those two emotions. The way she looks at me is exactly what is truly reflected in her eyes. She looks at me without a shred of fear. It is truly astonishing. As that thought crossed his mind, Sihat gently reached out and placed a soft kiss on Asina's hair. Then he asked with a sweet smile, Are you comfortable here in my harem? Asina's face suddenly flushed red. You are... She was so overwhelmed by Sihat's affectionate gesture that she could not even speak. He continued gently brushing her hair aside with his hand, creating an incredibly romantic scene. My lord Sihat, how much longer do you intend to keep this up? Asina shyly leaned back a little from his tender gesture, while Sihat stood still, gazing deeply at her, the fading light of dusk making the emotion between them feel all the more profound. That moment stirred something in her heart. Asina's shyness and hesitation gave Sihat a different perspective on her. Does she really find it that uncomfortable being close to me? Or is it simply because I am a man? Back then, I only meant to test her, but it turns out she seems rather inexperienced in situations like this. She really is quite the fascinating woman. Breaking the calm silence, Asina suddenly spoke up. If I had known you were the Jia-kun, I never would have run over to ask you for directions. Sihat replied with equal seriousness. A woman traveling alone through the desert of death, and on top of that asking for directions to an enemy nation's territory, that alone is more than suspicious enough. But there is something else I am curious about. I want to know how you managed to escape from Jiahannam. Jiahannam, is he talking about that prison? Up until now, no one has ever managed to escape from the Jiahannam prison except for you. Was what you did simply a stroke of luck? Well, go on, say something, traveler. Faced with his sharp words, Asina could only laugh it off awkwardly, since she was the one who had actually picked the lock to get out. With no other option, she answered instead that the door had simply opened on its own, so she just walked out. It sounded absurd, yet somehow convincing, and Sihat suddenly burst out laughing. Ha, you should really think through the consequences before saying such nonsense. Ha ha, I suppose you are right about that. Suddenly, Asina pulled her hand back. Well then, what do I have to do before you will finally let me go? Sihat lifted her chin and said, Then prove it to me. Bring me proof that you are innocent, and hurry. Then I will let you go. A little while later, Asina was still fuming over what had just happened. Bring you proof, he says. Ha, I will bring him a whole lot of nothing. I would rather just make a run for it. Aside from that, I have no idea if he plans to stay in the harem all night. If he does, I will not be able to sleep a wink. Ugh, please just leave already. What a jerk. I really hope he does not show up today. One morning, Asina and Noor were strolling around the harem. So the harem really is tucked deep inside the palace. Is it usually this big? By the way, Noor, why is the harem so enormous? Yes, my lady. Would you like to know more about it? This is where the emperor's wives live. However, the harem within the palace is not only home to the Jia-kun's women, it is also a home for young girls without families, which is why it is so vast. Asina was taken aback. Do not tell me the Jia-kun takes them as concubines once they grow up. Noor quickly explained. There have been a few cases like that in the past, but normally the Jia-kun marries them off to powerful men across Pezion. There are a total of 6 senior chieftains and 48 generals throughout Pezion. The Jia-kun will order them to marry women from the harem in order to keep their power in check through these arranged marriages. Oh, I see. So then, is there anyone here I should keep my guard up against? Asina thought to herself, the most dangerous person here is undoubtedly that brute Sihat, who never stops suspecting me, but if at all possible, I would also like to avoid making enemies with anyone else. Noor tried to recall a few names, then finally settled on one. Aside from my Lord Sihat, the person with the most power in the palace is probably the Grand Chancellor. At that very moment in the Imperial Palace, a man was approaching. My Lord Sihat, forgive me for not paying my respects sooner. State affairs have kept me rather busy lately. I understand completely, esteemed Grand Chancellor Gedich. I know it must have been difficult for you to shoulder all of Pedzion's affairs alone while I was away. The Grand Chancellor cursed inwardly. Humph, what a liar. I know full well you were deliberately avoiding me, you cunning snake. But outwardly, he kept up a gracious front. I believe we should hold a celebration to welcome your safe return, my lord. Sihat replied, Oh, a celebration, you say? Is that really necessary? Of course, my lord. Every few years, my lord Jiakun makes a perilous pilgrimage to the Ismail Oasis. The people of Pezion have been fasting and praying for your safety. They pray that you will face no danger out in the desert, and that you will never abandon them for good. Once the Jiakun returns safely from his journey, a week-long celebration will be held, and everyone will rejoice together, grateful that their God has not forsaken them. Sihat fell into thought for a moment. Oh, I had no idea about that. It seems you have another reason as well. Gedich gave a slight bow of his head. No, my lord, that is truly all there is to it. Sihat let out a small laugh. Is that really all? Very well, I look forward to this celebration of yours. Yes, my lord. Is that truly all there is, though? I sense there is still something more you wish to tell me. Suddenly he lifted his head and said, My lord, regarding the matter of the harem, might I offer my own daughter to you? I believe you remember my daughter, Zakia. In the past, you said you had no interest in women and turned her away, but now it seems you have had a change of heart. Catching the implication behind his words and his cunning smile, Sihat looked at him coldly and thought, so he does not even bother hiding the fact that he knows he is being investigated. Then he answered firmly, Listen, Gedich, I understand your good intentions, but I will not be taking anyone else into my harem. Hearing that, his face turned to shock. What? Do you mean? Sihat stood up and walked away, ignoring his words entirely. That is enough. This audience is over for today. Unwilling to accept it, he tried to hold him back. Wait, my lord. Sihat, thoroughly enraged, turned a gaze on him as sharp as a blade. Faced with the emperor's overwhelming, menacing presence, Gedich could not help but shudder. Asina kept glancing around as though searching for someone, all while walking through the vast courtyards and grand halls of the palace. Asina sensed that someone seemed to be watching her, since they were deliberately concealing their presence so that an ordinary person would never notice. Suddenly, she sensed something. Asina immediately broke into a run, ignoring Noor's confusion, then stopped behind a hidden corner beside a building's pillar. All at once, she discovered a man hiding right there. Asina was quite surprised to realize it was Karim, the one who had been following her the whole way. Hey, Karim, what are you doing here? Should you not be outside the harem? Caught in the act, Karim fell silent under Asina's accusing stare. She thought to herself, he must be keeping tabs on what I am doing. He probably still suspects me. Too bad for him, getting caught red-handed like this. Hey, maybe I should tease him a little. By the way, Karim, now that I look closer, your face is not too bad at all. I just realized it. You are actually quite the handsome prince type. So, do you have a girlfriend yet? Ah, heh. Hearing that, Karim began to feel flustered. Not stopping there, Asina continued. The girls must really like you, huh? You are probably quite popular with the ladies. I am going to keep rambling on and on until he finally gives up. Oh, is that a great blade? Or some kind of scimitar? That looks so cool, can I touch it? Faced with Asina's teasing and taunting, Karim could only stumble over his words in confusion. He was a man skilled at training warriors, but utterly hopeless when it came to talking with women. Asina kept pestering him without let-up, showing no sign of easing off. When did you become a guard anyway? Did you have to pass some kind of test? When was the first time you ever held a sword? Age 3 or 4? Noor, watching the whole exchange, could not help but feel exhausted and at a loss for words herself. At that very moment, a pair of feet slowly approached. A voice rang out, startling them both. Since when have you two grown so close? Asina was quite surprised to see Sihat show up at the harem at this hour. His arrival brought with it a heavy, gloomy atmosphere, and Nasir came hurrying over as well. Oh, my lord Sihat. Why are you rushing over here all of a sudden? He suddenly noticed the tense situation ahead, as Sihat was glaring intently at Karim. Sihat asked, his voice thick with menace. Huh, so you like my guard, do you? Standing behind him, Nasir could not help but feel a chill of fear, silently urging Lady Asina to be careful and not say anything provocative. But contrary to Nasir's hopes, Asina cupped her face and answered, looking delighted. Huh, why would you ask that? Of course I like him. Every woman loves a knight in shining armor, and on top of that, Karim is quite handsome too. Heh. Her answer left Karim standing beside her utterly stunned, while Nasir could do nothing but weep inwardly. Oh no, please do not say that, Lady Asina. Sihat, secretly seething with jealousy, let off a dark and oppressive aura. Oh, I see. Asina put her hands on her hips and continued in a provocative tone. Did you rush all the way here from the Imperial Palace just to ask me that? About my taste in men? Sihat could only laugh helplessly at her defiant attitude. Suddenly feeling a headache coming on because of her, he told his secretary to get straight to the point instead. Nasir quickly wiped his brow and said, Actually, I was the one who wanted to speak with you about this, Lady Asina. I would like to ask you about the northern continent. I am very eager to learn more about it, and since you are from there, so... Before he could finish, Asina held out her open palm, leaving Nasir utterly confused. You did not think I would answer questions like that for free, did you? Flustered, Nasir turned to glance at Sihat for guidance, but was met only with an indifferent look, so he had no choice but to decide on his own. All right then. What would you like in exchange? Ha, he has taken the bait, Asina answered immediately and firmly. Give me back my bag. Seeing how determined she was to get her bag back, Sihat asked suspiciously, Why do you want it back so badly? Is there something important inside? I heard it even had a protective enchantment cast on it. Caught off guard, Asina was startled and scrambled for an excuse. Well... Oh no, how am I supposed to explain this? I will just have to try this instead. Suddenly she blurted out, That is because my underwear is in there. That is exactly why I put a protective enchantment on the bag, so that absolutely no one else could ever see them. Hearing that, the two men were so shocked their jaws practically dropped. Sihat, caught completely off guard, burst out laughing. Unable to hold it in, he doubled over, chuckling helplessly. Furious, Asina snapped at him. Why are you laughing? I am being completely serious here. Ha, you really are impossible to predict. Just give it back to her. Yes, my lord Sihat. One dreamy sunset evening at the palace of Pezion. Having heard from my lord Sihat that you are curious about the iced sweet soup here in the south, please feel free to enjoy it as you like. Asina accepted eagerly, thrilled at the offer. So what would you like to know about the north then? Just as she was about to dig into the iced sweet soup, Asina suddenly froze at Nasir's next request. I have a few questions about Grungwa. Could you tell me everything you know? Just share whatever you know. Asina, caught off guard by the request, began to hesitate. I suppose I just need to tell him the common knowledge, right? After thinking it over, she agreed. All right, fine then. I will tell you about the geography, the people, and the politics of Grungwa. It is a place blessed with lush, verdant nature, and the people there are very friendly as well. Ever since I was born, I have always been immensely proud of my homeland. And after traveling all over, I have grown to love it even more. It truly is my most precious home. There are two powerful clans in Grungwa. The Cardians clan is renowned for its military strength, while the Astasti clan is famous as a family of great scholars. That is what people generally say about them. Under the protection of these two powerful clans, the royal family has become virtually invincible, with no force able to overthrow them. As a result, the political situation in Grungwa is extremely stable. In fact, there has never once been an uprising there. After meticulously writing down everything Asina shared, Nasir gently set his pen down on the table and said, Oh, I see, thank you. You have given me a great deal of fascinating information. Then he continued, giving her a suspicious look. From what I can tell, it seems Lady Asina here knows quite a lot about Grungwa. Realizing she had gone a bit overboard and raised his suspicion. Not at all. This is just common knowledge. I assure you, anyone from the north would tell you the exact same things. Nasir merely smiled as though he had already figured something out. Then he gathered up his papers and said, Well, that will be enough for today. Please continue telling me more about Grungwa next time, my lady. Asina suddenly looked stunned. Wait, what do you mean? Next time. Hey, hold on. When exactly are you going to give my bag back to me? Nasir flashed a cunning smile and replied, I will return it once I have asked all of my questions. Asina felt a surge of irritation at realizing she had been tricked. Ugh, damn it, that jerk, how dare he trick me like that? Not long after, night had fallen completely over the palace of Pazion. In the darkness, the sky was blanketed with thousands of mysterious stars, forming a dazzling, magical canopy of shimmering light. At that moment, Asina was sneaking off to somewhere within the imperial palace. She thought to herself, it seems I need to come back to this exact spot. Security here is fairly loose. The number of patrolling guards and their schedules stay fixed. Once I fully memorize the palace's layout, escaping from here will be even easier than eating cake. The real problem is reaching Soti after escaping. That is a small nation nestled between the north and the south. But I will worry about that later. Right now, my priority is getting out of this palace first. Suddenly, Asina sensed a strange presence, a curious and dangerous gaze watching her from somewhere. The feeling spread through her body like a cold wave washing over her from head to toe. She quickly spun around, dropped down, and slipped into a hidden corner to escape his line of sight. I can feel it. Someone is watching me. How could that person possibly know I am up here? I am standing so high up that it should be very hard for anyone to spot me. At that same moment, a certain man suddenly murmured, was that a woman? Beside him, Grand Chancellor Gedik, puzzled, asked, Is something wrong? The man fell silent for a moment, listening carefully to the sound he had just heard. Then he glanced toward the spot where Asina was hiding and answered, Ha! It is nothing, Grand Chancellor. I thought I saw someone over there just now. But it was probably just some small animal. A little while later, at a bathing pool in the harem, Asina let out a sigh of relief after escaping that man's watchful eyes earlier. That was such a close call. I almost got caught by him. Even though it was only a brief moment, I really got a bad feeling about him. Very different from the Emperor of Pezion's gaze, my Lord Sihat's eyes are overwhelming in their own way. Meanwhile, that man's eyes felt like a snake coiling tightly around my whole body. I truly do not want to run into that man again. While she was relaxing and gazing at her reflection on the water's surface, she suddenly noticed something was off. Wait, my earrings have changed color. I know they do not have much power left and need to rest for a while, but I never expected them to change color this soon. I need to take them off first. If I keep wearing them like this, it will not end well. There is no other choice. I need to release part of the enchantment on them. After finishing her bath, her maid Nur was gently helping Asina brush her hair. Releasing part of the earring's enchantment had caused a slight shift in her eye color, though not enough to be too noticeable. It seemed Nur had not caught the change either, and thanks to that, the enchantment could hold out a little longer. Suddenly, Nur spoke up. Oh, right, my lady, I nearly forgot. There is something I need to tell you. What is it, Nur? Oh, my lady, actually my Lord Giacan has been waiting for you since earlier. Hearing that, Asina was startled, and upon seeing him already sitting there waiting, she could not help but snap in irritation. Why do you keep coming here so often lately? Do you have some treasure buried here or something? Sihat closed his book with an easy smile and replied, Oh, must I have a reason just to visit my beloved consort? Asina retorted testily. Stop joking around, whatever, just do as you please. With that, she huffed in annoyance and ignored him, walking further inside. Noticing her long, flowing hair, Sihat could not help but grow curious and ask, I have always wondered about this. Why is your hair so long? Does it not get in your way while you are traveling? Asina gave her glossy hair a light flick and replied, At first, I actually planned to cut it before starting my journey, but my family would have been furious if I had done that. From my parents to my cousins to my friends, none of them would allow it. They all said a proper lady should keep her hair long, and I figured it was easier to just let it grow naturally and avoid the whole hassle, so I just let it be. Sihat asked further, So are you an only child then? I have not heard you mention any siblings. She answered honestly, Yes, my lord. But I do have cousins who are just like siblings to me. Suddenly, Sihat called out her name unexpectedly. Asina? Is that really your name? Yes, why do you ask? He slowly sat up, then moved closer to her. That is your real name, is it not? She burst out laughing and replied, Yes, it is. Do you really think I would lie about something like that? My parents had the entire family vote for 3 whole months just to choose my name. Asina means light and blessing in the ancient tongue. Standing before this woman, Sihat found himself lost in thought. There is still so much I do not know about this woman, yet I feel I have already figured out a few things. At her core, this woman is neither hard to read nor gloomy. I can sense it. Just from the way she talks about her parents, honestly, one glance is all it takes to see it. As that thought crossed his mind, he gently placed his hand on her lovely face. From what I can tell, you grew up surrounded by love. Unlike me. A shadow of sadness suddenly crossed Sihat's eyes, and he quietly gazed at Asina for a long moment, lost in thought. Now I find myself even more curious. Why would a girl who grew up wrapped in her family's love choose to leave it all behind and walk such a difficult path instead? Asina quickly brushed his hand away and shot back. Well then, let me ask you this. Why is it that you always just stay cooped up at home, my good sir? Good sir, you say? Oh no, did I just speak so rudely to the emperor? I mean, your majesty, or should I call you Jia-kun, is that what you would prefer? Certainly not. Then how about Sihat? What does that even mean anyway? Is that not what Nasir usually calls you too? He explained, Sihat is the name of a god, it means my god. Oh, then what should I call you instead? His full name is Sihat Zenbeta, Sihat means god, and Jia-kun means king. Could Zenbeta be his real name then? Suddenly Asina thought of a name and said, Bi Behi, I will just call you that from now on. A bright smile broke out across Sihat's face. That name has a nice ring to it. He happily accepted it, an intimate little nickname that brought with it a warm, comforting sense of closeness. Seeing his smile, Asina's eyes seemed to light up and her cheeks began to flush. Wow, this is the first time I have ever seen him smile so brightly. Feeling shy, she quickly turned away. But wait, why do you keep asking me so much, Beihai? Do you not have other work to attend to? Sihat crossed his arms and replied, That is because I have fallen for you. Asina froze on the spot, the words landing like a sudden confession, leaving her flustered and at a loss. Flustered, she answered, Do not say things you do not mean. Before she could even deny it further, Sihat had already taken hold of her hand, then suddenly pulled her close and wrapped her in his arms. What makes you think I do not mean it? She turned to look at him, flushed with embarrassment. Her heart raced wildly in her chest, and she could clearly feel the warmth radiating from Sihat into her own body, creating a feeling that was both overwhelming and strangely familiar. Suddenly, he leaned down and kissed her lips, the unexpected, burning kiss leaving her startled and flustered, unsure how to react. In that fleeting moment, the only thing left in the room was the sound of their breathing. Little by little, he pressed her against a corner of the wall, and the kiss grew more and more intense. Faced with this sweet, burning sensation, Asina found herself completely unable to resist. Why is he suddenly doing this? This is dangerous. I need to fight back somehow. The very moment that thought crossed her mind, Sihat suddenly pulled away, leaving her stunned. Did he just pull back on his own? In that instant, he thought to himself. Back there, I nearly lost control of myself completely. But why would that happen? What does this woman even mean to me? He gently caught her arm and said, It seems you have no experience at all with men, do you? She quickly shoved his hand away and snapped irritably. Why would I need experience with that? Sihat answered. Because if you did, I would not have needed to stop at just a kiss like before. I could have gone much further. Hearing that, Asina blushed and bit down hard on her lip. Then she shouted angrily, Why would you do that to me? I already told you I have fallen for you. So I have no intention of forcing you, and I am pretending not to notice that your eyes have already changed color. She froze in shock, utterly stunned that he had managed to notice such a tiny, subtle change. That cannot be. How could he possibly have noticed that? I thought it was only a slight change, something no one would ever catch unless they looked really closely. Asina swallowed hard and pretended not to understand. What do you mean? My eyes changed? She quickly pushed him aside, avoiding his gaze. Please step aside, I want to go look in the mirror. She reassured herself inwardly. No, I need to stay calm. He is just testing me. That is just how he is. Standing in front of the mirror, Asina took a deep breath, trying to hide her anxiety as she spoke. Are you absolutely sure you did not just see things wrong? I have already looked carefully in the mirror, and I see no change at all. She stared straight and steady into Sihat's eyes, keeping her composure and holding firm to her resolve. Against that piercing gaze that seemed to see straight through her, even the slightest careless slip would raise his suspicion. Sihat kept his gaze fixed on Asina, unable to look away from her eyes. There is no way I would fail to notice such a change, since I am always gazing into those beautiful eyes of hers. The more I learn about this woman, the more curious I become about everything else. She always stays guarded whenever I get close. Yet she never seems to want to push me away either. I can sense that she is not exactly deceiving me, but at the same time, she is hiding plenty of other things from me too. Just who exactly is this woman, really? Why do I keep letting myself fall for her little tricks? Even though he knew she was lying, Sihat remained silent, staring straight into Asina's eyes for a moment, then decided to play along and said, "Perhaps I was mistaken." A little while later, the late-night stillness settled over the imperial palace. Under the gentle moonlight, with soft breezes drifting through the harem, a quiet conversation unfolded between the two of them. "Hey, Asina. Yes, what is it? You still have not told me why you wanted to go traveling in the first place." Speaking of her journey, Asina did not hold back, expressing her feelings with real depth. "Well, it was not some random whim of mine. The world we live in is truly beautiful, would you not agree? It would be such a shame to live one's whole life in a single place until the day I die. Do you not think so too?" Unlike her view on things, Sihat held a different perspective entirely. How strange. Why have I never once thought of leaving this place? She could only sigh in response. "Ha, I understand. That is exactly why so many people find me so strange. But Beihai, why are you still here at this hour? When are you finally going to leave? Please do not tell me you plan on staying until morning." He looked at her intently and said, "Why do you ask? Is there a problem with me being here with you?" She let out a helpless laugh. "There it is. Is that not exactly right? How am I supposed to sleep with you hanging around here like this?" Sihat kept teasing. "Why would you not be able to sleep with me here?" Annoyed, she turned and scolded him. "Do I really need to spell it out for you in detail?" Suddenly, Sihat pulled her into a tight embrace. Stunned, her face flushed bright red, and her heart began pounding wildly in her chest. Faced with his gentle embrace, she could only stammer in embarrassment. What are you doing?" He closed his eyes and murmured softly, "Let us go to sleep now. Or would you rather go back to where we left off earlier and continue that unfinished scene?" Asina could only feel embarrassed as she recalled the two of them passionately kissing earlier. With no other choice, she reluctantly agreed to sleep beside him, in delight. In sheer irritation, that is more like it. The next morning was bright and full of energy, a fresh new day bursting with life. But not for Asina. Her face looked like a corpse from sheer exhaustion. She was still fuming about what had happened the night before. Is this some new form of torture? Thanks so much to his kindness, I could not sleep a wink all night. Nighttime would normally be convenient for me to move around unnoticed since no one can see me. But now I will not have any time to slip out of the harem if he keeps coming to see me like this every night. No, this will not do. I need to think of another way. If nighttime is out, then I will have to make use of the daytime instead. Otherwise, I will never manage to escape this place. Without hesitation, she went off to explore other parts of the imperial palace she had never been to before. Suddenly, she spotted the maids from before, deep in discussion about some plan, and they all seemed to be in quite a rush over it. Finding it odd, Asina asked, "Is everyone always this busy around here? Or am I just the only one with nothing to do?" Seeing everyone so lively, Newer happily explained, "I think they are preparing for the upcoming banquet." "Oh, what banquet?" "We are holding a banquet to celebrate my Lord Sihat's safe return. There will be a huge festival held both inside and outside the imperial palace." "Wow, is that so? It looks like escaping is going to be much easier for me after all. With crowds of people flooding in for the festival, no one will notice if I go missing. I am going to take advantage of this moment. This is perfect. I will find a way to get my bag back and make my escape on the second day of the celebration." From a distance, a red-haired woman had spotted her and began to take notice. Meanwhile, Asina was still quietly plotting her escape from this place. I also need to shake off the people keeping tabs on me. Kareem, for instance. What a coincidence. Right at that moment, Kareem happened to walk by. Spotting him like easy prey, she rushed over to stir up some trouble. "Hello there, where are you off to?" Seeing her charging toward him, his face turned pale as a sheet. Just as he tried to make a hasty retreat, one of her hands caught hold of him. Hey, where do you think you are going? Did you see a ghost or something? You look absolutely terrified." Kareem had been avoiding Asina ever since Sihat had teased him about it, and the rest of it probably came from her habit of constantly teasing people. Left with no choice, He turned back to face her, his expression sour, thinking to himself, "This woman is such a nuisance. She is probably about to ramble on about nonsense again. Ugh, my life is so difficult. Here she goes talking nonsense again." "Hey, Karim. I have noticed the guards around me all seem to like peace and quiet, and treat women with such courtesy. You must be the same way, right?" With that, she smirked with a smug, self-satisfied smile. Heh, I am going to keep bothering him until he finally gives up trying to keep tabs on me. Utterly worn out by her, Karim replied irritably, "Why would you even ask me something like that, Lady Asina? Are you interested in me?" "Absolutely, I am extremely interested in learning more about you." "If that is the case, then you should save those feelings for a different guard. I know you are fond of guards, but by the rules, we are not even allowed to speak with each other." While they went on chattering away, a woman slowly approached from behind. Then a sharp voice suddenly rang out. "Karim is right about that. Why would an era like you go around flirting with a guard? What would you do if my Lord Sihat found out about this?" Noor was taken aback by the sudden appearance of this stunning, dazzling red-haired woman. "Ah, that is Lady Zakia. I heard my Lord Sihat had returned, so I came by to pay my respects. So you are the new era of the harem? Allow me to introduce myself. I am the eldest daughter of Grand Chancellor Gedich. My name is Zakia. It is a pleasure to meet you." Faced with her sharp, elegant beauty, Asina could not help but marvel in admiration. She is so beautiful, completely different from women up north. Her striking red curls and emerald green eyes, her sharp, elegant features paired with sun-kissed, alluring skin. Her beauty reminds me of a blazing red poppy, a perfect, refined kind of beauty. Not only that, it radiates such vibrant energy that it captures every gaze. But why is Karim acting like this? Why would he be so wary around such a beautiful woman? Karim eyed her sternly with a suspicious gaze. "You said you came here to see my Lord Sihat, so why are you here instead? Especially when Ira and you have never even met before." Faced with Karim's suspicion, Zakia did not flinch in the slightest. "I merely happened to see the two of you while passing by, and I was drawn in by how unusual your behavior looked. I suppose since you are from the north, you are not yet familiar with Petsion's customs, but as an era, you are not permitted to meet or speak with any other man. And yet the two of you seem to be secretly meeting like a pair of lovers, do you not?" Her judgmental, provocative words filled the surrounding air with a stifling, awkward tension. Faced with such accusations, Karim could not contain his anger and spoke up. "How dare you slander us like that?" All of a sudden, Asina rushed forward as well. "You are Zakia, correct?" "That is right." Standing before this woman, a thought crossed her mind. It had been a long time since anyone looked at her with such jealousy. In a moment like this, there was only one way to handle it. "So you actually thought I was flirting with Karim?" Asina broke into a bright, flower-like smile and explained. "Honestly, he seemed a bit tense, so I was just teasing him a little. But I can completely understand why you would suspect us of secretly seeing each other. Thank you for pointing that out. The best way to handle this is to just play dumb." And indeed, Zakia found her fake sweetness incredibly irritating, yet there was nothing she could do but silently curse her under her breath. What a liar! Why on earth would my Lord Sihat bring someone like her into the harem? Asina kept up her teasing. "By the way, did you not say you came here to see Behi? Instead of standing here chatting with me, you should hurry along and go see him." Hearing Asina's pointed, dismissive words, Zakia could only seethe and clutch tightly at her dress. Humph, how dare she use his personal name so casually like that? To preserve her own pride and dignity, she had no choice but to storm off in irritation. "Please forgive me for intruding on your conversation. I will take my leave now." "Yes, goodbye then, Zakia." After walking off in a huff for a short distance, she still turned back to glance over her shoulder, her eyes brimming with envy. "It seems I have just made an enemy of her. She does not like me, does she, Karim?" "Oh, I do not think that is quite right, my lady." Not long after, on the way to Sihat's imperial palace, the maids spotted Zakia and greeted her warmly. "Welcome, my lady. It has been a while since you last visited the palace." "Is that right? Have a wonderful day, my lady." But behind her back, they whispered among themselves about the harem now having an era. "Shh, keep your voice down. She might hear us." Lady Zakia is definitely going to become the next Ira, right? I think so too. Even though she holds no official title, everyone here treats her just like a princess of Pizion. As for Zakia, she could not stop thinking about Asina. I have seen plenty of women grow arrogant after being favored by the Jiakun or some noble. but this woman is different. Despite her demeanor, she carries the genuine confidence of true nobility. Just who exactly is she? As that thought faded, Zakia arrived at the entrance to Sihat's imperial palace. I am here to see my lord Sihat. My lady, Sihat is currently occupied with another visitor. Zakia was taken aback and pressed further. What? Who is it? I already sent word requesting an audience with him beforehand. The guard answered earnestly. Yes, my lady, he is currently speaking with Grand Chieftain Varen. Inside the imperial palace. Greetings, Varen. Yes, my greetings to the almighty ruler of Petsion. I have come here on behalf of Saza. I hope your pilgrimage went smoothly. Facing this man, Sihat always kept his guard up and remained cautious around him. This was Varen, one of the dangerous individuals who dared to threaten Sihat's throne and harbored ambitions of rebellion. This man was the true mastermind behind it all, always quietly pulling the strings from the shadows. He was nothing less than a venomous snake in human skin. Sihat kept his composure and replied, Everything seems fine to me. How has Saza been lately? With conflicts breaking out constantly, you must be under quite a lot of pressure. Varen answered, Yes, my lord. Tensions between us and Credia have been escalating, but this tends to happen around this time of year, so everything should settle down soon. Oh, is that really all there is to it? If you ever need any help, just let me know. My secretary will take care of everything. I am deeply grateful for your kindness and concern, my lord. Haha. No need to be so formal. Sit down for a while. It has been a long time since we last spoke. Outside, Nasir stood waiting anxiously for his own audience. They had been in there for quite a while now, probably a whole hour already. All the other chieftains had already left. Only Grand Chieftain Varen remained. It is amazing he can withstand my lord Sihat's pressure for this long, though that was merely Nasir's own imagination at work. But in truth, the scene unfolding inside matched exactly what Nasir had imagined. I have applied this much pressure, and he has not budged an inch. There is nothing left to dig out of him. Having thought this through, Sihat gave the order. You may take your leave now. I have someone else I need to see. Varen bowed as he took his leave. Yes, my lord, since I am still in the area, I will be sure to visit you often. Sihat replied generously. Sure, make yourself right at home. As Varen departed, Sihat quietly kept his eyes on the man's retreating figure. I spent an entire hour trying to pry information out of him, yet he did not show the slightest sign of fatigue. He truly is a man of the prestigious Sahim clan. Unlike the other chieftains, I simply cannot tell what he is scheming. Perhaps I need to look into him more closely. As he reached the palace gate, Varen happened to run into Nasir there as well. He approached and greeted him. It has been a while, Nasir. Seeing him, Nasir asked, Hey, Varen, did you just meet with my lord Sihat? He nodded in response. Yes, that is right. Despite the harsh pilgrimage, his health seems to be in excellent shape. Ah, and I also heard some good news. Hearing his words, Nasir felt an unpleasant twinge. The way he spoke made it sound almost as if he wished Sihat had been injured instead. But he kept up a friendly front and asked, Oh, and what good news would that be? I heard Sihat recently brought a woman into his harem, and since he is still young, no one dares to say much, but everyone has been quietly worried that his bloodline might end with no heir to carry it on. Nasir gave a forced smile and brushed the comment aside. Ah, is that what you mean? You are right, that truly is good news. Realizing the man was starting to probe into harem matters, he made an excuse to leave. Forgive me, Varen, but I really must be going now. My lord Sihat is waiting for me inside. My apologies for keeping you, Nasir. After a long, tense encounter first with Sihat and then with Nasir, Varen let out a deep sigh and muttered to himself. Ha, this place is more suffocating than ever. I truly do not belong in a place like this capital. Unlike the previous Jiakun, the current one truly is a formidable man. He was the one who ended the bloodshed and seized control of Petsion. But he seems somewhat different now from when I met him a few years ago. Back then, he carried himself like a man nearing the end of his life, but now he is brimming with vitality. It is strange that he would break his own law and bring a woman into his harem. Perhaps this has something to do with the change in him. While still lost in these thoughts, he suddenly noticed someone approaching ahead. That is... He spotted the figure of an unfamiliar woman, being personally escorted by Karim. Curious, Varen stepped closer and struck up a conversation. It has been a while, Karim. The moment he saw him, Kareem's expression turned sour. Even though my name is Kareem, I do not believe our relationship is close enough for you to address me so casually, Grand Chieftain. Oh, still as prickly as ever, are you, Kareem? Then he glanced over at Asina and asked, By the way, who is this young lady? Kareem immediately rushed forward to shield her. Please show some respect toward Era. Hearing that, his expression shifted to one of astonishment. So she is Era. So this is the woman of the Jia-kun that everyone has been gossiping about? Something suddenly clicked for Asina as she listened to this man's voice. This voice, where have I heard it before? There is no mistaking it now. That is the man from yesterday. Judging by his tone this time, he actually seems fairly refined. Varen gave a slight bow and spoke gracefully. Please forgive my rudeness, Era. I am Varen, Grand Chieftain of Saza. It is truly a pleasure to meet you. Even though he looks rather dashing, something about him makes me uneasy. Having thought it over, she replied, Very well, I forgive you, my lord. Sensing her unusual manner of speaking and attitude, he smirked, a crafty smile spreading across his face. Ha! How fascinating. The woman the Jia-kun brought back truly is no ordinary person. Unlike the women of Pezion who are always perfectly obedient, she carries herself with the noble bearing of true aristocracy. How truly interesting. Varen smiled and showered her with praise. My deepest thanks, my lady. You are not only beautiful but kind-hearted as well. No wonder the Jia-kun has fallen so completely for you. Kareem began to grow anxious hearing his flattering words, breaking into a sweat as he watched Asina, thinking to himself, No, please do not. If you keep saying things like that, this woman is going to... Sure enough, Asina immediately grew smug and started talking nonsense. Ha! Let me tell you, Behai fell head over heels for me the very first moment he laid eyes on me. So much so that he had to bring me straight back to the harem. Goodness, being this beautiful really is exhausting sometimes. Beside her, Kareem could only stand there speechless, utterly helpless in the face of her antics. Unlike Kareem, Varen felt genuinely surprised hearing this. Oh, is that really true? A man as cold as Sihat toward women, falling in love with her at first sight? Setting aside his surprise and curiosity, he put on a warm expression and said, You must have been through quite a lot of hardship. How do you find the imperial palace of Pezion? Is it comfortable? Asina answered just as warmly. Oh, everyone here has been very kind to me. You said you are a grand chieftain? Yes, my lady, please just call me Varen. Well then, Lord Varen here seems very kind-hearted too. Oh, is that so? Thank you for the compliment. Varen chuckled inwardly and thought, I never would have guessed that the Jia-kun could fall so hard for her over mere appearance alone. Suddenly, Asina reached out and touched Kareem's arm, asking, Did you not say Era is not allowed to talk to other men? Worried that she was about to stir up trouble again, Kareem answered with obvious irritation. Yes, that is right. So she finally remembers that now? Asina immediately turned to Varen with a meaningful smile, her eyes practically saying, Did you hear that clearly? Realizing he was the one who had spoken to her first, Varen gave an awkward smile. Ah, my mistake. My mistake. I meant no disrespect at all. On the surface, he kept up appearances, but inside he was fuming. Who exactly do you think you are lecturing? She continued, You know, Behi would not be happy about this at all. We should probably keep this between us, or he might get quite upset. Yes, understood. I will see you again sometime, Ira. Let us get going too, Kareem. The moment they left, she even turned back and stuck her tongue out at him. Nya, that is the price you pay for daring to get in my way the other day. Even though she felt a little uneasy around him, why did it feel so satisfying? Varen simply stood there quietly, smiling to himself, his face taking on an air both mysterious and dangerous. A little while later, in Nasir's study. Hello there, Lady Asina. Yes, hello, Nasir. So what would you like to ask me about today? Nasir smiled and said, Why do we not have some tea while we talk? At that moment, her eyes drifted toward the bag hanging over there. In order to get her bag back, she had no choice but to comply with his questions. Nasir spoke up. May I ask you something, Nasir? Yes, of course. What is it? She had been thinking, curious about this man, Varen, who called himself a grand chieftain, but she could not exactly ask Nasir about it directly, so she would have to be indirect about it. After thinking it over, she spoke up. So, what exactly is Saza like as a place? At the mention of Saza, Nasir suddenly paused, hesitating for a moment before answering. Saza, you say? I am not sure why you would suddenly ask about that, but it is the smallest of the 6 autonomous regions of Petsion. However, up to this day, it has been the region that has caused the most concern for generations of the Jiakun. It is a fertile land, and despite being the smallest, Saza pays the most in taxes and tribute of them all. Naturally, the chieftain of Saza also holds considerable influence in Petsion, since the region sits right on the border. So Saza has built up a formidable army to fend off the conflicts that keep breaking out there. What is more, the current Grand Chieftain, right there, Nasir suddenly stopped himself. Never mind, it is probably better if I do not bring him up. Suddenly, a knock sounded from outside along with a voice. Forgive the interruption, my lord Nasir. He immediately rushed to open the door and listen in on the situation. All at once, a shrill cry rang out. What is going on? Nasir looked troubled. Forgive me, my lady, but something urgent has come up, and I must attend to it right away. Asina answered cheerfully, understanding completely. It is fine. Go ahead. I hope it is nothing too serious. The moment Nasir stepped outside, she quietly turned her attention to the bag behind her. She slowly crept closer, step by step, taking advantage of his lapse in attention. She quickly reached out and snatched the bag. Suddenly, a faint clinking sound made Nasir spin around in surprise. It turned out to be nothing more than the sound of the teacup Asina was drinking from, clinking against its saucer. Still, he could not help but eye the bag with suspicion. I have a feeling something just happened, or maybe it is all just in my head. Not long after, I am truly sorry for calling you here, but I am afraid we will have to end our conversation here for today. It is fine, Nasir. If you ever have anything else to ask, just come find me. Yes, my lady, I wish you a peaceful evening. Scene change. Varen walked quietly through the darkness of the night, lost in thought, recalling events from the past. The faint dying voice from the final words of a man on the brink of death, please fulfill Saza's long-held wish. And that wish is to preserve Saza's independence. Back in the present, Varen's eyes grew heavy with sorrow as he recalled those painful memories. I have not been in a good mood since this morning. Perhaps it is because of that woman. Before that woman ever appeared, the Jiakun and I used to be close. But now he has a woman by his side, and even his face looks more full of life. It seems I am the only one standing still while everything else moves forward. This is so frustrating. Everything in Petsion remains just as dull as ever. When will I ever break free of this hollow feeling, weighed down by discouragement and troubled thoughts? Suddenly, a fleeting figure caught Varen completely off guard. Long, silky platinum hair gently swayed with the breeze. A strange sensation overtook him, leaving him frozen in place, unable to tear his eyes away from that beautiful figure. His heart surged like a great wave crashing through, shattering every lingering thought in his mind. It was a girl of mysterious, otherworldly beauty, with dazzling red eyes like precious gems and soft platinum hair as gentle as moonlight. A few hours earlier, at the harem, my lady Asina, I have brought your dinner. You must have been talking with Nasir for quite a while. Your food has already gone cold. Let me go warm it up for you. It is fine, Newer. I think it is still warm enough and delicious as is. Yes, my lady. Please enjoy your meal at ease. I will take my leave now. I will come back a little later to clean up then, my lady. Thank you, Newer. After the maid left, Asina immediately went over to her bed. She pulled out a bag and began rummaging through it, muttering a few words under her breath. When will I ever get a moment alone here? Then, all of a sudden, she pulled out a bag that Nasir had been holding onto from inside. I do not understand why they confiscated this old bag in the first place. There is nothing special inside it at all. If I had not released the enchantment, it would just look like an ordinary pile of belongings. Besides the protective spell, I have also cast plenty of other enchantments on it. Not only that, this bag was crafted by master sorcerers. Thanks to that, only I am able to take anything out of it. What is more, it can hold even the largest of items. Simply put, it is basically like Doraemon's magic pocket. And then there are these other things too. They have helped me out tremendously. These fake bags are meant to trick people. I usually use them to fool my mother. But who would have thought there would come a day I would actually need to use them for real? Recalling the moment from earlier. I am sorry, Lady Asina. Something urgent has come up and I must go. It is fine. Go ahead. While Nasir was busy and looking the other way, I quickly swapped the two bags with each other. It looks like everything is still intact. That is such a relief, nothing at all has gone missing. But Nasir is quite sharp. He might very well discover that I swapped the bags before too long. But it is fine either way, the banquet is coming up soon. It will not be long now before I make my escape from this place. So then, right now I am going to go scout out the area with the weakest security in the palace. I have almost finished sketching out a map of the palace, so escaping should be fairly easy. But still I have not yet figured out where that one place actually is. I have already asked plenty of people about it, but no one is willing to give me an answer. The more something is kept hidden, the more curious it makes me. And so Asina slipped away quietly and made her way toward that tower. Interesting, what secret could possibly be behind everyone trying so hard to hide it? Could there be some cursed object inside? Or is the Jiakan hiding a son or a sibling in there? Let us see just what exactly they are hiding. Suddenly she was caught off guard by what she saw inside. Wait a second. This is just a treasure vault. Wow, that piece of jewelry is gorgeous. And here I thought they were hiding some earth-shattering secret. What a letdown. Noor would be coming back soon to tidy up. I need to hurry back to the harem. On the way back, suddenly, her earrings began flickering wildly. Noticing the sign of a change, she froze in shock. What? My earrings are vibrating. That cannot be. They should still have a little power left. Why would they stop working right now of all times? My hair is starting to change color. Are the earrings broken? Did I store them the wrong way? I remember taking such careful care of them. Why would this happen now of all times? Back in the present. Asina was overcome with panic and confusion upon realizing she had fully reverted to her true form. She felt like she had lost her soul entirely upon realizing she had just walked right past someone. Turning around, she saw Varen standing there frozen, staring at her with utter astonishment. His emotions were in complete turmoil, as though he had just laid eyes on a fairy for the very first time. Asina's true form radiated a mysterious beauty, like something straight out of a fairy tale. Her face and figure were so captivating that Varen found himself completely enchanted, unable to look away. In that moment, his mind seemed to fall under some kind of trance, and he murmured under his breath, "Is she a fairy?" Suddenly a voice called out from behind him, "Grand Chieftain! I was instructed to come and attend to you. Is something the matter?" That call from the young maid had broken his concentration. Varen jolted and turned back around, only to find nothing but empty space before him. He stood there stunned, muttering to himself, "Did she just vanish? Could it be that I was sleepwalking? No. There is no way that was a dream. She was clearly right there. I saw her so clearly. How strange. I can still recall that beautiful figure. Long hair shimmering like moonlight. Those deep red eyes radiating such coldness. Even though our eyes only met for the briefest instant, it left me utterly breathless. He slowly raised his trembling hand and placed it gently over his chest. What exactly did I just see? The young maid stood watching him, unable to hide her unease. Is something wrong, Grand Chieftain? Meanwhile, his face had gradually flushed red. His heart had gone wild, pounding harder than ever before. Varen tried to rein in the emotions swirling inside him and answered calmly. Do not worry about me, it is nothing at all. Not long after, back at the harem, Asina sat curled up, weeping in despair. Ugh, I am truly done for. This time I am definitely going to die. Boo-hoo. Suddenly she angrily flung the earrings away and shouted, "Damn it, why would these earrings run out of power at that exact moment? Well, at least I can hope that the people down south have no idea what I actually look like. My mother might be quite powerful, but I doubt her influence reaches all the way down here to the south." Back in the north, she has been putting up notices searching for her daughter across the entire continent. But it should be fine, since Nasir does not seem to know much about the north anyway. So Varen should not be able to recognize my true appearance either. At least I hope so. After that, she scrambled to grab the earrings back, murmuring to herself, "What should I do now?" Thank goodness they were not damaged at all. If they had actually broken, I would have been completely finished too. Oh God, what should I do? Asina. While she was stuck in this bind, a sudden knock sounded at the door. "Lady Asina, may I come in?" Outside, Noor grew anxious when she got no response. "My lady, are you all right?" Asina answered awkwardly. "I am fine. I am just changing. I ate such a heavy dinner that my clothes suddenly feel too tight." Ha ha ha. Then let me help you. Before she could finish speaking, Noor was startled to notice a shadowy figure quietly approaching from behind her. She slowly turned to glance back. Suddenly, Sihat was standing right there behind her, scaring the living daylights out of her. "Ah, my lord, Sihat. What are you still standing there for? Hurry up and open the door for me." Sihat's sudden appearance sent Asina inside, spiraling into even more panic and confusion. What now? Sihat, seriously, is he here again? She paced restlessly, unable to sit still. If Sihat were to discover her like this, he would surely kill her. What should she do? She glanced at the shimmering earrings in her hand and thought to herself, I have no other choice left. He is about to come in any moment now. Ugh, whatever, I will just have to risk it. Without thinking twice, Asina immediately put the earrings back on. Suddenly, her hair slowly began shifting back to its usual brown color. She was stunned, filled with confusion, since even the color of her eyes had unexpectedly changed back too. Irritated, she cursed under her breath. Damn earrings. Now they decide to work normally all of a sudden. What in the world was wrong with them earlier? At that very moment, the door swung open. Sihat slowly walked over, looked at her, and spoke. Your color does not look too good. Is something wrong? Seeing him, Asina pushed aside her worry and confusion about the earrings and tried to appear calm. No, it is nothing. Sihat immediately stared straight at her and replied, You are lying. Do not think I cannot tell. She looked up at him, growing flustered. Suddenly, the earrings flickered with a faint gleam of light. Sihat noticed it too and immediately pressed her. By the way, what is that? He gently reached out and brushed her hair aside, then softly touched the glimmering earrings. I have been noticing your earrings for a while now. Do they happen to be enchanted? She instantly broke into a cold sweat, growing tense. Ugh, why is this man so sharp? Does he have some kind of instinctive perception? Denying it would be pointless now. I suppose I will just have to lie. That is right, there is a small protective enchantment cast on them. Right? Huh, a protective enchantment, you say? Asina explained. It only activates upon contact with fire or water. That is why I always keep them with me while traveling, since I never know when danger might strike. Oh, is that really so? She thought smugly to herself. I just made that up entirely, and yet he actually fell for it completely. Suddenly, Sihat quietly gazed at her with a tender, affectionate look in his eyes. Asina glanced at him, feeling embarrassed. She asked awkwardly, What are you staring at? Is there something on my face? He smiled and answered gently, his tone sweet as roasted sugarcane. I suppose it is simply because I find you beautiful. Hearing that, her face instantly flushed red as she denied it. Are you seriously spouting nonsense right now? Stop lying to me. I know that is not what you really mean. Sihat pressed further. Why would you say that? You are always the one calling yourself beautiful. So why would you assume I am lying? She pouted, sulking. Because if it were true, you would not be looking at me the way you do. Plenty of men have fallen for me before, but none of them ever looked at me the way you do. Having said that, she silently reinforced her own words in her mind. That is right. This man says he loves me and even calls me beautiful. But his eyes do not match those words at all. That is not the look a man gives a woman he truly desires. If anything, that gaze is filled with nothing but curiosity. It is as if a plaything has just caught his eye. And once that curiosity fades away, what will he do then? She clenched her fists and continued snapping irritably. I have no idea what you are thinking, but what exactly do you plan to do with me? Are you going to kill me? Sihat gazed deeply into her worried eyes and spoke. Are you really dangerous enough to warrant me taking your life? Asina answered, perhaps. If that is the case, would you kill me? Sihat suddenly fell silent, quietly studying her for a long moment. Then he slowly stepped closer and gave a faint wry smile. Kill you? I doubt it will be now, since I still find you far too interesting. Besides, there is still so much about you I do not yet know. Now come sit down here, and tell me about everything you have been through in your life. Perhaps once I have heard it all, I might just spare your life after all. For example, tell me about your adventures. I am genuinely curious to know where all you have traveled so far. She crossed her arms, glanced at Sihat, and raised her voice slightly. You really want to know? Fine then. There is no reason to hide it all anyway. Excellent, then go ahead and tell me. He thought to himself, I have no choice but to indulge her if I want to pry more information out of her. Besides, I actually want to hear and learn more from her. Now I understand why so many chieftains enjoy keeping birds as pets. Sitting here listening to her ramble on about such trivial things, I find myself strangely entertained. Let me tell you, in the beginning, I explored every single corner of the north. My proudest accomplishment was visiting all 10 major tourist spots in Grungwa. Sihat asked curiously. Oh, is traveling across an entire continent like that not incredibly dangerous? She puffed herself up with confidence and began to brag. Ha, I might look fragile, but honestly I am quite tough, probably from all that traveling, he answered, unsurprised. Right, of course, you did break out of prison after all. I suppose my concern was unnecessary. Suddenly her voice dropped lower. But there was one time I nearly lost my life. Sihat looked startled and asked, You nearly died? Yes, my lord. Here is what happened. While I was exploring some historical ruins on the northern continent, remnants of civilizations from long ago, I had heard that ancient legends still lingered within them. Since everything was so well hidden, it was extremely difficult to track down any trace of them. But in the end, I found it. That historical site was called Rotwin. The inside looked quite vast. I did not have a map of the interior, so I wondered if I should mark my path as I went. But I did not want to damage the place. Just as I had walked in a short distance, suddenly the entire ruin began shaking violently, and out of nowhere a wall appeared, sealing off the only way out, trapping me inside for an entire month. Up until that point, I had simply thought of it as an exciting adventure, but I never imagined it could turn this dangerous. Sihat gazed at her thoughtfully, sympathizing with her. You must have been absolutely terrified. He quietly recalled an image of himself in the past, a lonely young boy facing the barren, scorching desert all alone. Asina honestly described how she had felt in that moment. While trapped in there, I am not even sure if the word terrified fully captures what I felt at the time. An endless night, 4 solid walls surrounding me, no matter how hard I pounded on them. I could not even leave a single scratch. I tried screaming for help. Hello, is anyone out there? I am trapped in here. But above everything else, the hardest thing to bear was the loneliness. I was stuck in a place with no other soul around and no way out at all. If I had not comforted myself by thinking of the people I had met throughout my travels, I probably would have lost my mind completely. At first, I thought about all the beautiful sights I had conquered. Then I found myself reminiscing about happy memories of my beloved family back home. I really was foolish. My mother had always been so cold and strict with me, and yet all I could remember were the warm moments I had spent by her side. Mother, I am sorry. That is everything that happened. Hearing that, Sihat could not help but wonder aloud. So then, how did you end up here now? Seeing him so invested in her story, Asina decided to drive up the price. You are curious, are you? Well, I am not telling this story for free. He happily played along and asked, So what would you like in exchange this time? Her face lit up with excitement as she answered, What do I want this time? Let me think. Ooh, I have got it. What I want is a bowl of iced sweet soup. Huh. What did you just say? Iced sweet soup? Asina insisted firmly. That is right. The more iced sweet soup, the better. I tried some last time, and it was genuinely delicious. Oh, so you want an entire mountain of iced sweet soup, then? That would not be too hard. I would simply need to give the order. No, I just want to eat the iced sweet soup. 1 bowl filled to the brim is enough. She thought to herself, I really need to watch what I say around this man, since he is exactly the type who follows through on whatever he says. Now then, please continue. How did you manage to escape from that place? Asina relaxed her body and leaned back onto the soft bed, then thoughtfully continued her story. It was almost like a miracle, really. At first, I forced myself to keep searching for a way out, but after a while, I lost all will to escape, and soon enough, my food and water began running out. To be honest, I had given up and simply lay there waiting to die, because I no longer wanted to move at all. Sihat spoke up. So you gave up on trying to escape then? Yes, more or less, my lord. But unexpectedly, while I was staring blankly at the ceiling, I noticed something. Oh, there are some strange patterns up on the ceiling, Wait a moment, looking closer, is that writing? That is right. It is an ancient language. I need to read what it says up there. There's only one path, and it must be guided. Why did it take me this long to notice? In the ancient language, truth and light share the same meaning. If I create light, I should be able to see even more of the writing. Please give me some kind of clue on how to escape from this place. At that point, I carefully searched through and read every single hidden symbol on those stone walls. Then I discovered one crucial line. A sacrifice must always be made on the path to uncovering the truth. Sihat asked, puzzled. A sacrifice, you say? She quickly explained, it means blood, human blood, though the amount required was not so much that it would threaten one's life. Either way, what happened next was even more surprising. I kept reading further along, and I gradually pieced together the clue. A sacrifice must always be made on the path to uncovering the truth. Beginning from the lowest point right before your eyes. The lowest point right before my eyes? Could it mean... It turned out the way out was located right beneath the floor, the very spot where I had been lying for 3 whole months. A sacrifice must always be made. At that point, I used a little of my own blood as an offering, in order to activate the power of that magic circle. And sure enough, the moment the drop of blood touched the surface, the circle burst into brilliant light. A mysterious blue glow spread outward, and the ancient symbols on it began to move. And then, at last, I finally managed to escape that place. When I saw the clear night sky stretching out before me, breathed in the fresh air, and gazed up at the vast universe once more, my heart pounded harder than it ever had before. It reminded me exactly what it felt like to be free, to simply exist. So ever since then, you have always avoided anywhere life-threatening while traveling, is that right? Yes, my lord. Suddenly, Sihat said nothing more. He simply gazed at her silently for a long while, his eyes filled with deep thought. Asina felt embarrassed and grew flustered. Why are you looking at me like that? Sihat kept his composure and answered, It is nothing. I just find it strange. Based on everything I know about your personality, I would have expected you to be the type who charges headfirst into danger, like those people who thrive on thrilling, terrifying experiences. The type who says, oh, this place is so terrifying. What a fresh, thrilling experience this is. Traveling really is the best. Ha, ha, ha. Oh my goodness, are you actually mocking me right now? Though, honestly, you hit the nail right on the head. How did you know that? Are you some kind of fortune teller? Sihat continued. If that is the case, then what is the actual reason you avoid such dangerous places so much? Asina answered quietly, deep in thought. Well, it is a personal reason. It is quite embarrassing to say out loud. It has to do with my beloved mother. Back then, I had returned home after 3 months away. She ran to me and pulled me into a tight embrace. That was the first time I had ever seen my mother cry. She was usually so cold toward me. So much so that at times I even wondered if she was truly my birth mother at all. But in that moment, she said, Asina, I will not interfere with your life. But can you not set aside just a few months out of the year to be with the mother who loves you so dearly? You are the child God gave to us, Asina. I do not know what I would do if something terrible ever happened to you. I never once imagined I would see my mother cry like that. I could never be a perfectly obedient daughter, but I never wanted to become a bad person either. She gave me this life, so I have to cherish it with everything I have. That is exactly why I made a promise to myself, that I would never involve myself with dangerous places again. She then glanced quietly at the man sitting beside her, lamenting silently in her mind. And now, look at me, taken hostage by a rival nation and watched day and night by the very man in front of me. I truly never saw any of this coming. Having thought all this through, she lay down, pulled the blanket over herself, and prepared to sleep. Noticing this, Sihat asked with concern, Are you tired? Yes, I am off to sleep now, Behai. Suddenly, she turned to glance at him briefly before continuing. But Behai, please do not kill me. Sihat felt a mix of surprise and sympathy hearing that plea. Asina's eyes gradually grew heavy and drowsy. I feel so sleepy all of a sudden. Is it just because I am tired? And just like that, she drifted off into a deep sleep without even realizing it. Sihat remained sitting quietly beside her, silently admiring her beautiful, sleeping face. How could she dare fall asleep so peacefully in front of a man who could kill her at any moment? Just what exactly is she hiding behind that innocent face of hers? After that, he slowly leaned in closer to her face. But then he suddenly stopped himself and murmured, If I were to kiss her right now, would I even have the willpower to hold myself back from doing something far worse? Somehow, I always feel a lingering unease that once I truly desire this woman, I will no longer be able to stop myself. What is even more surprising is that I am currently holding back both my own desire and every feeling I have for this woman. Late that night, somewhere within the palace, a man crept quietly through the darkness. He stopped in front of a certain room and knelt down. "You summoned me, Grand Chieftain." Varen calmly gazed up at the moon hovering high above, then spoke smoothly. "Raqui, find someone for me." The subordinate answered respectfully. "Yes, my lord. Please go on. I will bring that person to you. I need you to find a woman with platinum hair and deep red eyes." "A woman, my lord?" "Yes, I will get right on it. But does she have any other distinguishing features?" Varen fell into thought, slowly recalling every detail about that girl. He simply could not forget her stunning figure and that long, flowing hair, not to mention a face and eyes that seemed almost angelic. Having thought it through, he concluded with a single statement. "Humph. Distinguishing features, you say? She is extraordinarily beautiful." The next morning, a clear blue sky stretched out across the entire continent of Pezion. This is not good. My eyes are getting redder by the day. The earrings enchantment has nearly reached its limit. I do not have much time left now. The banquet is scheduled to take place tomorrow. I have already sketched out my escape route and studied the guards' shift schedules. Even though it is a little sooner than planned, I have to leave this place. Tomorrow will be the moment I finally escape from here. "Scene change." A man rushed in hurriedly to report. "My lord Jia-kun," Sihat asked, taken aback. "What is it, Uma? Why are you in such a rush?" Uma, still catching his breath, delivered his report. Varen summoned one of his subordinates late last night. Sihat grew serious and immediately pressed further. "So has he made any moves since then?" Uma answered. "I cannot say for certain, my lord, but it seems he gave some kind of order to his subordinate. According to the young servant I assigned to attend to Varen, he apparently said he saw something while out on a walk." Sihat grew puzzled and curious about his unusual behavior. What could he have seen? "In that case, keep a close watch on him." "Yes, my lord, understood." Afterward, as he was thinking about Asina, he suddenly remembered something. "What I want is a bowl of iced sweet soup. I tried some last time and it was delicious." "That is right, that is what I promised her last night." Having thought of it, he immediately called out, "Hey, Uma." "Yes, my lord." "Do you have any further orders? There is something I need you to deliver to the harem." In no time at all, another evening began to fade into dusk. A voice called out along with a series of knocks at the door. "Lady Asina?" "The sun is setting now." Finding it strange, Karim walked over and asked, "Is she still asleep?" Noor answered, "Yes, I believe so." Karim suddenly sensed something was off. "That is odd. She normally wakes up early and wanders around the imperial palace." Noor looked worried. "She has not eaten breakfast or lunch, so I brought her a small snack. But I am worried something might be wrong." Karim let out a sigh and answered indifferently, "Just leave her be. If she gets hungry, she will wake up and eat on her own." Suddenly he heard someone approaching. What is this? Where are they carrying all that? "Excuse me, is this Era's room?" Inside that very room, Asina lay curled up in a bundle beneath the blanket. "Right now I am pretending to be sick. I need to save as much magical energy as possible. So I am hiding under this pile of blankets to conceal my red eyes. I just need to stay like this until the banquet begins." Outside, Noor kept knocking at the door. "My lady, are you in there?" Asina faked a sickly voice and replied, "I am fine, Noor. I just feel a little tired." "Oh no, but it is already dark out and you have not eaten anything at all. Please at least have a little snack. Let me bring it in for you." With that, the door swung wide open. Asina immediately activated the magic earrings. In an instant, her eyes gradually shifted back to their usual brown color. Seeing her huddled under the covers, Noor could not help but worry and rushed over to check on her. "Are you sick, my lady?" Asina answered. "I already told you I am fine." Standing behind her, Karim poured the tea with an utterly unwilling expression. "Why does a dignified guard like me have to do chores like this?" Noor added with concern. "I brought you some chicken porridge. It should help you recover quickly. And also, Sihat." Before she could finish speaking, the sound of a door opening suddenly rang out. The group of servants from earlier came rushing in and announced formally, "Greetings, my lady. Era, we have brought gifts here for you from my lord Sihat." They joyfully presented precious jewelry, along with various silks and other items. most notably an enormous platter overflowing with iced sweet soup. Asina felt utterly bewildered. Huh? What is all this? One of them explained warmly. My lord Sihat said he wanted to reward you for last night. He even sent along the iced sweet soup you asked for. Hearing those words, Noor blushed and blurted out, Night? Last night, you say? Karim was so shocked hearing that he choked on the mouthful of tea he was drinking. So much so that he had to dash outside with his head down. Noor glanced at her curiously and asked, Ah, heh. So what exactly happened last night, my lady? Asina's face turned pale. Oh my goodness. It is not what you all think. This must just be the reward for the story about how I escaped from those historical ruins. I only asked for a bowl of iced sweet soup. Why would he send all of this? Ira, we will take our leave now so you can rest. After the group left, Noor spoke up eagerly. What should we do with the gifts Sihat sent, Ira? Should I put them away for you? Asina immediately objected. No, there is no need. I will handle it myself. Thank you, though. I am still a little tired, so I would like to rest a bit more. Noor blushed and replied. Of course. Now I understand why you are so tired. Heh. I already told you, it is not what you think. Understood. Please call for me if you get hungry, my lady. Afterward, Asina let out a sigh of relief. Finally, some peace and quiet to myself. But there is still this pile of gifts to deal with. Is he serious right now? What is with all these gifts? There is really no telling what goes on in that man's head. At that very moment, Sihat and his secretary Nasir were busy managing and recording state affairs. Suddenly, a knock sounded from outside. Someone is here, my lord. Yes, let them in. A charming young woman stepped inside and spoke softly. Greetings, Sihat. I am Zakia. I came here to see you. I hope I am not interrupting your work. Sihat answered indifferently. It is fine. I doubt this will take too long. Hearing those words, her heart clenched painfully. But what are you doing here in the capital of Pezion? Should you not be back in Dara? Zakia felt a pang of hurt, noticing that his tone had grown even colder than before. She answered tensely, My father made me come here. Sihat glanced at her and emphasized, The Grand Chancellor, you mean? Zakia hesitated slightly before answering. Yes, he said. He wants to discuss my marriage. He asked back, taken aback. What? Marriage, you say? Have you already reached marrying age? Faced with those harsh words, Zakia could only lower her head and stay silent. What does that even mean? If I had been born into a different, more powerful clan, I could have been married off long ago. Sihat remained cold and kept his gaze fixed on Zakia, not waiting for her to respond. He had already quietly figured out her true intentions for coming here. I am certain she is only doing this because her father is pressuring her. That is exactly why I should not give her any false hope. Having thought it through, he spoke coldly. Is that everything you wanted to say? Zakia felt a sharp pang of hurt. Unwilling to accept it, she spoke up, her voice thick with jealousy. But my lord, I happened to run into Aira on my way to the palace. Sihat, is it really true that you took her into your harem just because you fell in love at first sight? Sihat suddenly clenched his jaw in anger. His eyes blazed with fury as he growled, Why would I owe you an answer to that? Zakia immediately shuddered in terror. She spoke, trembling. I think I have spoken out of turn. Please forgive me, my lord. I will take my leave now, Sihat. My apologies for wasting your precious time. With that, she turned and hurried away in fear. The moment Zakia left, Nasir spoke up while tidying his stack of documents. Now that I think of it, I just remembered something about Lady Asina, my lord. Earlier today, I went to the harem because I had something to ask her, but I was told she refused to eat anything and stayed in her room the entire time. Normally, she loves wandering around the imperial palace, so it was quite surprising to hear that. Sihat paused for a moment, then spoke. Oh, is that so? With that news, he stared at the paper in his hand, unable to stop thinking about her. The next day, is she the same again today? Karim nodded and reported. Yes, I heard she has stayed in her room and slept the whole day. Nasir looked concerned. Is she sick? Perhaps she just needs time to adjust to the food here, since she is a foreigner after all. Karim added, though she did not seem particularly ill to me. By the way, did you come here because you had something to ask her again? Nasir scratched his head and replied, that is right. But it seems this trip was for nothing. I wonder what could be wrong with her. Could she be homesick, perhaps? Meanwhile, Asina lay wrapped up in her blanket, quietly plotting. Today is the second day I have stayed in bed. Once the sun sets, that is when the banquet will begin. So today will be the day I finally make my official escape from this place. Yesterday, I stayed hidden under the blanket the whole time so the earrings could rest. Today I will sleep to recharge my energy. While she was dozing off, the door let out a faint creak. Suddenly, a gentle hand stroked her hair. Feeling as though someone had touched her, Asina jolted awake. She bolted upright in a panic and found Sihat sitting right there beside her. Seeing that she was awake, he asked with concern, "Are you not feeling well?" Still not fully recovered from the shock, Asina thought to herself, "Oh my goodness, this man is trying to scare me to death. Why would he go around scaring people with that handsome face of his? What a waste." But wait, why are you here again? I thought you were busy preparing for the banquet? Sihat replied, "Not exactly. I am not the one in charge of planning that. The Grand Chancellor is the one handling the preparations. But anyway, how are you feeling? Any better?" Asina hesitated before answering. "Yes. I think I am feeling a bit better now." "Really? Well, should I even be doing this?" Sensing that his tone and words carried genuine concern for her heart could not help but skip and race with emotion. She blushed and thought to herself, "Wait a moment. Why is he treating me so gently today? Is it because he thinks I am sick? When we first met, he was so cold and terrifying. Who would have guessed he had this side to him too?" Asina spoke up. "Behi, I have a question. The very first time we met, why did you spare my life back then? I understand it is not really that big a deal that you did not kill me, but I am still curious to know." Hearing that, Sihat looked a little surprised that she had brought it up again. He hesitated for a moment before speaking. "It is because, in that very moment when I looked into your eyes, I thought to myself, that look in your eyes seemed to tell me that you wanted to live. Is that not reason enough on its own?" Faced with his handsome face and those sweet words, her heart began racing even faster. Every time this man says things like that, for some reason, she found herself wishing he would treat her the way he did when they first met. Even though she was being held here like a prisoner, he never once tortured her, whether physically or mentally. If anything, he treated her more like a guest. The moment he discovers I have run away, I am certain he will feel utterly betrayed. It stings a little, but I still have to leave this place. Behai, what is it?" Asina paused thoughtfully, then said, "Thank you." She gazed quietly at the man beside her, silently finishing the thought in her mind. "And thank you for giving me all these new experiences." Sihat could not help but feel taken aback hearing those two words. "Thank you. Are you—" Asina cut him off, feeling shy. "I am just thanking you for worrying about me, that is all. Think whatever you like. You can leave now, if you do not want to bother your patient any further." As she pushed him out toward the door, Asina paused with a hint of longing and looked at him just a little longer. "This will be the very last time I ever see him. It stings a little, but it is time for me to go. I really am being ridiculous." She broke into a soft, warm smile and called out to him one more time. "Hey, Behi, Petsion really is a wonderful country." Sihat stood there dumbfounded, unable to understand why she kept saying such strange things today. "What are you talking about? Are you feeling sick and just rambling nonsense now?" "Tusk, I said I am fine." "Goodbye then, Behai. Go get some rest." A little while later, the soft, soothing sound of music began to hum through the air. A group of musicians played lively, cheerful melodies with great passion. Alongside them, beautiful dancers performed captivating, mesmerizing dances. The food had been prepared in lavish, sumptuous abundance. It was all in celebration of a magnificent banquet spreading throughout the entire imperial palace. At the same time, back at the harem, Asina stood on the balcony, surveying the scene and quietly finalizing her plan. At last, the banquet has begun. After finishing dinner, I told them I was going to sleep, so Noor will not be coming back here. She was so happy to see me eating again that she will not suspect a thing. As for Kareem, he has been avoiding me lately, so he is only stationed outside the harem. Most importantly, Behi is currently busy attending his own banquet at the Imperial Palace. I have already mapped out my escape route along with the positions of the guards. At the same time, I have finished packing everything I need. So, 1 hour should be enough for me to make my escape from this place. Not long after, the sky had fallen completely dark. The buzz of laughter and chatter mixed with the clinking of glasses, filling the air with a lively, vibrant atmosphere. At one of the banquet tables, a quiet conversation unfolded between father and daughter. Zakia? Yes, father. Grand Chancellor Gedich took a sip of wine and asked, When you met Sihat, did he say anything? Zakia answered with a hint of worry. No, father. Sihat remained as cold as always. He immediately took on a reproachful tone. You must have disappointed him then. Zakia answered quietly. Father, please forgive me. Then he angrily slammed his glass down on the table and emphasized, And do not forget, the next child must carry the blood of our family line. Under her father's pressure, Zakia tensely clasped her hands together and answered respectfully, Yes, father. Suddenly, he noticed a man's voice calling out to him. Grand Chancellor Gedich. It has been a while. I very nearly arrived late. Haha. Gedich spoke warmly. Oh, hello there. So it is the Grand Chieftain of Neja. Lord Elba, is it not? A brief introduction to Neja. This is a region with nothing particularly remarkable about it. Not as wealthy as Saza. Its army is not as strong as other regions either. And yet, nothing much ever goes wrong there. In other words, it is simply a place with nothing to boast about. It has been so long, Elba. Thank you for making the long journey here despite the distance, Elba answered generously. I brought along a bit of wine as a gift. And this is my son. His name is Misa. Gedich laughed and replied, Ha ha ha. So he will be your successor as chieftain then? Come now, sit down and have a drink. Haha, thank you. Oh ho, is that... Hello there, Yaleen. Grand Chieftain of Dara. You seem quite busy admiring the dancers. Yaleen let out a hearty laugh. Ha ha ha. How could I possibly resist those graceful beauties inviting me over like that? Ha ha ha. You really are quite the character, Yaleen. Oh, is that so? At that same moment, somewhere else within the Imperial Palace, Asina had already begun putting her plan into action. She tossed a rope with a hook high into the air, and it caught firmly onto the edge of a rooftop terrace. Once she confirmed it was secure, she slowly climbed up and reached the highest point of the building. From here, she could survey her surroundings to find the right moment for her next move, while also staying out of the guard's line of sight. Wow, the banquet looks so lively and festive. Everyone seems even more crowded together than usual today. My target is that gate over there. That is exactly the spot I need to reach to get outside. A line of people and carriages was streaming steadily out of the Imperial Palace. I need to slip through there without being noticed. Having thought it through, Asina immediately jumped down. Then she slipped into the shadows of various corners to observe. This is the main courtyard. I need to be extra careful here since there are plenty of the Jiakun's personal guards stationed around. As long as I keep my face covered, they should not suspect anything. Besides, I have already changed into a maid's uniform I managed to steal earlier. So everything should be fine. Moving to another corner, Asina overheard the faint murmur of an ongoing conversation. It is such a relief to hear that Sihat returned safely. You are right. There is not a soul around here. The entire palace feels completely deserted. Even the Grand Chieftains have to worry about the water supply running low. Everyone fears having to endure a terrifying drought like the one from the past. All the water in Petsion dried up entirely during the reign of Seikan Hakun. Oh, so that is why we are holding such a huge celebration then? Yes, exactly. This way the Jiakun will not abandon us again. Standing nearby, Asina listened in, but had absolutely no idea what they were talking about. After that, she quickly made her way toward the line of people heading out through the front gate. And just like that, she quietly blended into the crowd. I just need to get past that checkpoint and I will be free. Come on, you can do this. Next person, please. Hurry and show me your luggage. Yes. Watching the guard at the gate inspect the bags so strictly, Asina could not help but worry and silently pray. Please, let there be nothing wrong. Just let me through. Please. Since her bag had been enchanted with a protective spell to help conceal all her important belongings, the guard searched thoroughly but found nothing suspicious at all, so he had no choice but to let her through. All right, you may go. Next. Having passed through the final checkpoint, Asina let out a sigh of relief. Whew, this feels incredible. At last I have made it outside. I truly cannot believe escaping from here turned out to be easier than I expected, even though there is a slight pang of emptiness in my heart. But honestly, this place really was a fascinating experience. Still, I cannot stay in Petsion any longer. Even though it is not what I wanted, that does not mean every memory here was a bad one. She quietly recalled the first time she was brought into the harem. all the way to the fresh new feelings from encountering the people and culture here, not to mention the thoughtful care everyone had shown her, and, especially, that one man who had always stirred up such a mix of joy and sorrow within her, along with no shortage of sweet, romantic moments as well. She gripped the strap of her bag tightly and told herself, I suppose I will miss him a little. Well, there is nothing to be done about it. It is his own fault for being so handsome. Being handsome really is a crime in itself. I have never met anyone as handsome as him in my entire life. He is even more captivating than all those photos of handsome men I collected. Oh, well, I suppose there is nothing to do but let it go. There are plenty of things in life you simply cannot force. I need to get out of here quickly. This is probably the last time I will ever see these magnificent palaces. Farewell, then, city of moonlight. And farewell, my handsome god. Back to the lively atmosphere of the banquet at the palace. Sihat gently swirled the glass of wine in his hand. In contrast to everyone else's excitement, he remained composed, calmly savoring his drink. His gaze drifted over the positions of the various chieftains as he pondered. Have all the invited guests arrived yet? Pezion consists of 6 territories. First there is Soha. Next comes Mian. Dara was represented by Yolene. Moskath's seat still remains empty. Then there is the Neja region, led by Elba. And finally the Saza region, led by Varen. Over the years, these regions have both formed alliances and fought one another in pursuit of supreme power. And now all the chieftains have gathered here to answer the summons from their god. While everyone was laughing and enjoying the banquet, what troubled Sihat most was that man Varen sitting there in such strange silence. Normally, at an event this grand, he would be lively and full of energy. And yet now he looked utterly absent-minded, truly unusual. What could he possibly be thinking about? Besides, I have felt strangely uneasy this whole time. Why is that? Could something have gone wrong? Noticing Varen looking so absent-minded, Elba found it odd as well and walked over to strike up a conversation. You are unusually quiet today, esteemed chieftain of Saza. Is something troubling you? Varen put on a friendly front. It is nothing, I am just feeling relaxed, so there is no need to worry about me. Elba teased him. Come now, you must be bored without anyone to sit beside you. Then he went on with his usual taunts. But by the way, esteemed chieftain of Saza, is Chieftain Vika still busy with his duties? I think he really ought to hand over his position to his successor soon. Do you not agree, Grand Chancellor? The Grand Chancellor chuckled in response. Ha, ha, ha. I am sure Chieftain Vika has his own plans. Soha does have quite a few issues of its own to deal with these days. But just look at Varen over there. Still so young, yet already managing Saza so skillfully. Honestly, Chieftain Vika really should not be so greedy about it. By the way, where is the esteemed leader of Moskath? Did he not make it here? Please forgive us, our esteemed leader is currently occupied with some family matters, so I have come in his place. I am Nikwa, representing esteemed leader Takev, head of the Moskath clan. Elba looked surprised. Oh, is the issue serious enough that Lord Takev could not attend this banquet? Surely his own son should have come in his place instead. Nikwa replied, I heard Lord Karim was assigned the duty of guarding the harem. Really now? A formidable warrior like Lord Karim given such an important responsibility? Either way, I am glad you made it here, Nikwa. Your leader really is quite rigid, is he not? You know that yourself. Yes, that is true. Our leader is not exactly an easygoing man. Haha. The harem, you say. Now that reminds me of something. My lord Sihat, I heard you recently brought a woman into your harem, and I could not be more delighted to hear that news. After all, the harem had been left empty for quite some time, has it not? It has been vacant since the reign of the previous Jia-kun, so that is over 20 years now. Sihat could only sigh inwardly at that, thinking to himself, Elba really is just as blunt and simple-minded as ever, speaking without a second thought. Speaking of the harem, his mind drifted back to Asana. It was I myself who broke the very rule I had set, and then went on to keep her confined within the harem. At first, she was as prickly as a wild cat. And who exactly are you supposed to be? Some kind of god? But once she came to understand her situation, she surprisingly grew composed and well-behaved. And then, I found myself desperately wanting to know what she was thinking, to the point that even I did not fully realize it myself. I wanted to tame her, to have her open her heart to me on her own. But I cannot help but wonder about one thing. whether she truly is the kind of woman I could ever tame at all, even if I were to offer her all the wealth and glory this world has to offer, and whisper sweet words of love into her ear. Would she ever stay by my side forever? Sihat suddenly recalled her words and that strange expression on her face. Thank you. He abruptly froze, sensing something nagging at the back of his mind. Thank you, she said. Thank you for what exactly? Why would she thank me? He continued, recalling more details from that moment. I was only thanking you for worrying about me. Was that truly just her being polite? Hey, Sihat, Pezion really is a wonderful country, but why would she suddenly say something like that? It feels like I am missing something. As that thought crossed his mind, his expression turned rigid and grave. Suddenly, the dancers froze in fear and stopped their performance. Even the senior chieftains could not help but feel confused. Everyone was stunned and bewildered as Sihat abruptly stood up, a look of shock plastered across his face. The lively atmosphere was extinguished instantly, replaced by dead silence. Worried? Elba asked. My lord Sihat, is something troubling you? He guessed uneasily to himself. Could it be that he is angry over what I said? Suddenly Sihat hurried off, his tone firm and decisive. I am retiring to rest. Please continue enjoying the banquet. The room immediately buzzed with murmured speculation. Sihat rushed hastily toward the harem, unease surging within him. Noticing his unusually tense expression, someone quickly asked, I need to see her in person right now. Where is she? Yes, my lord, Aira is currently in her room. Is she asleep? Yes, my lady just finished dinner and is resting now. He grew even more anxious the moment he cracked the door open. A dark, unusually silent room greeted his eyes, and he sensed immediately that something was wrong. He rushed straight to her bed to see for himself. Noor suddenly turned pale with fear, and at the same moment Karim came rushing over in concern. My lord Sihat, what are you doing here at this hour? Before he could finish speaking, he froze in shock, because there before him was a completely empty bed. The moment Sihat pulled back the blanket. Sihat stood frozen in place at the sight, while both Noor and Karim were equally stunned and horrified. Furious, Sihat turned to glare at them and gave the order in a deathly cold tone. Find her, right now. At that moment, Asina was making her way alone across a vast sea of sand, the desert wind howling around her. Ha, I knew it. The desert really is freezing at night. At least my cloak still carries some magic to keep me warm. Since there is no one around, I might as well release the enchantment from my earrings. In an instant, her hair and eyes changed color, her feet crunching softly against the sand as she walked, her heart heavy with countless memories from the past. Once again, she realized just how lonely it was to travel all by herself. When I was little, I used to travel with Uncle Ian. He loved exploring new places just as much as I did. He was the very first person to teach me what traveling truly meant, and he was the one who first sparked that passion in me. Ah, Uncle Ian. Asina, would you like to go traveling with Uncle Ian? Young Asina asked innocently, curiously. Traveling, what is that? He took her by the hand as they strolled along, slowly explaining. Well, there are so many things in this world we still do not know about, and traveling is one way to learn about all of it. Most children my age would cry if taken somewhere unfamiliar, especially without their parents around. But strangely enough, I loved seeing all those new and unfamiliar things so much. Back then, Uncle Ian had gotten into serious trouble with my mother for taking me traveling. However, there was a period of time when I lived entirely according to my mother's wishes. I attended banquets exactly as she instructed, and met the same kinds of people every single day. I even ate at the exact same hour every day, and even though this lifestyle seemed perfectly natural to everyone else, to me, it always felt unbearable. I even thought that dying would honestly be better than living the rest of my life like that. Because once I discovered just how vast the world truly was. Every nation has its own culture, history, and way of life ever since I learned that. I could no longer just sit still at home. I was always eager to learn and experience everything I possibly could. Is there any way to capture this journey in my notebook, I wonder? Suddenly she found herself picturing Sihat's handsome face. It left her feeling a mix of embarrassment and longing. Why would that man's face suddenly come to mind like this? She slapped her own face to shake off the lingering feeling. Get a grip, Asina. You are out in the middle of the desert right now. Once I make it back home, I will tell my family that the journey was incredibly tough and share with them all the fascinating new things I experienced along the way. Back at the Palace of Pezion, Varen once again pressed for any news on the whereabouts of the beautiful woman who had left him so consumed with longing. Had they found anything about her yet? The subordinate reported earnestly. My apologies, my lord. We have asked around, but we were unable to find any information at all about a woman with platinum hair and red eyes. Varen felt a wave of disappointment and gave the order. Is that so? Then keep searching as long as it does not put you in any real danger. Understood, my lord. The subordinate then added further. My lord Varen, I did notice something when I entered the palace today. Oh, what was it? I saw several of the Jiakun's warriors leaving the palace. Varen asked further, concerned. So, has anything happened on our end? The subordinate answered. I cannot be certain, my lord, but I do not believe this has anything to do with us. Hearing that, Varen spoke sternly in a low voice. Go find out for certain, instead of just standing there speculating. After the subordinate obeyed the order and left, he continued gazing quietly and deeply at the moon, his heart filled with longing and secret affection for that girl from before. At the same time, at Sihat's imperial palace, Karim came rushing in with news, breathless. My lord, we have searched the entire palace from top to bottom, but we cannot find her anywhere. It seems she is no longer within the palace grounds at all. Furthermore, we are also searching the entire city. But because of the festival, it is extremely crowded and chaotic, making it difficult to track her down. Still, I am confident she must still be somewhere within the city. There is no way a frail woman like her could have escaped the city entirely. Sihat did not respond at all, remaining silent with an expression of pure fury. Karim glanced at him nervously, worried inwardly. He is not punishing me, nor is he blaming me for anything. In fact, he has not taken a single action all night. I have no idea what is going through his mind right now. I would honestly prefer it if he just punished me instead. Suddenly, a firm, weighty voice spoke up. No, she is no longer in this city at all. For a woman like her, leaving this place would be easier than eating cake. It seems I was far too careless. Karim cut in, filled with regret. This is my fault. Please forgive me, my lord. Sihat replied at once. There is no need to apologize. It was not you who let your guard down, it was me. After all, that woman even managed to break out of a prison before. Having said that, he silently blamed himself. That is right. I was the one who was careless. The reason that woman was never afraid, even while trapped in an unfamiliar place, was because she could leave whenever she pleased. No matter how secure a prison may be, no one fears it if the door is left wide open. The harem sits at the very heart of the palace. That is why I was so certain you would never be able to escape as long as I kept you within my sight. Humph, how foolish of me to have ever thought that. At that same moment, Nasir came rushing in as well. My lord Sihat, I have brought the bag you requested. We have inspected the bag thoroughly, but there is nothing suspicious about it at all. The protective enchantment on the bag has been removed. She must have taken every important item with her. Sihat seethed with fury and frustration, scratching his head as he quietly calculated his next move. Without a moment's hesitation, he issued a firm and decisive order. Karim, assemble the Azemi. Both of them could not help but feel stunned and anxious hearing that. Karim spoke gravely. Do you mean... Sihat said firmly, his voice low and resolute. That is exactly right. I will track her down myself. The next morning, at the palace, while taking a morning stroll and breathing in the fresh air of a new day, Varen happened to spot two men busily carrying something. Curious, he could not help but pay close attention to them, and the two men stopped, bowing respectfully as they followed the instructions of some official. Seeing this, Varen approached cheerfully to greet them. Good morning, Grand Chamberlain, the official replied. Greetings, Grand Chieftain Varen. Unfortunately, you will not be able to meet with Lord Sihat today. This man's name was Iman, a Grand Chamberlain within the Imperial Palace, roughly translated as the palace's chief steward. Simply put, he is a high-ranking official in charge of personnel matters and organizing ceremonies within the palace, and he may also serve as an advisor to the king, among other duties. And why is that? Iman explained. He is currently not present here, and I believe he will be away for quite some time. So when will he return then? I am not certain. I am merely a servant of the Jiakun, nothing more. Lord Varen, might I go on ahead? As you can see, I am rather busy at the moment, Varen thought to himself. Yet you are also the one responsible for all the internal affairs of the palace. Why would you not know? He is clearly trying to avoid the question. Very well then. My apologies for troubling you, Iman. The moment Iman left, Varenne kept his eyes fixed on his retreating figure, quietly piecing things together. Based on what my own subordinate reported, along with what Iman just said. First, the Jiakun's warriors were mobilized, and now, the Jiakun himself has left the palace. Strange things seem to be happening all around me, and I have no idea why. Could I be missing something here? Besides, that man should be arriving here shortly as well, so I will need to look into this further before he arrives. At that same moment, out in the sweltering desert, Asina had collapsed and now lay sprawled across the burning sand. I completely forgot how brutally hot this desert can be. The path through the desert leading to Soti is incredibly rough. Sote is the only city still active in Petsion, and it has a seaport. I plan to head there and find a ship to take me back to the northern continent. But ship? What ship? At this rate, I might get roasted alive before I even reach Sote. While she was busy lamenting her fate, she suddenly noticed something approaching. Is that a person? Or are my eyes just playing tricks on me? Asina, let me take a closer look first. It does seem like whoever that is getting closer. And sure enough, within moments, a man stood right there blocking her path. Asina panicked, not knowing how to react. If this turns out to be one of Sihat's men, I am completely done for. Oh no, my hair, wait. I have my hood on, so he probably cannot see it, right? Having thought that, she flashed a friendly smile. Hey there. Hello. But the moment she lifted her head, a sharp blade was pressed against her throat, along with a curt voice. Who are you? Asina's face turned pale as she cursed inwardly. Oh my goodness, again. Why do all these madmen out in this desert insist on pointing swords at people before even saying hello? Is this seriously how people greet each other out here in the desert? The man looked her over with a judgmental gaze and continued his interrogation. What are you doing out here in this desert? Do you not know where you are? Looking at the man before her, she thought to herself. I cannot make out his expression since his face is covered by cloth, but I do not sense the same deadly menace I felt the first time I met Behi. Back then, I was truly scared to death. Stay calm, Asina. You have already survived someone even crazier than this guy. After reassuring herself, Asina spoke up. I am just an innocent traveler passing through. You seem awfully relaxed talking to me like that. So I suppose I can speak just as casually too, right? The man spoke up, still suspicious. Just who is this woman? He answered sternly. This is not a place where a woman should be traveling alone. Nor is it a place where a man should travel alone either. Besides, you would do well to lower that sword before we continue this conversation. And after that, the two of them walked together, chatting as they crossed the desert. Are you traveling to Petsion? No, I am headed to Kretia. Ah, I see. This man's name was Akka. He said he was from Kretia and was on his way to Petsion. After noticing the items in her bag, he assumed she was a traveler. Akka spoke up. But this is not the way to Kretia. Asina replied, I know that, but my journey has already ended. I am on my way home now. I plan to board a ship at Sote. But why would you cross the desert to do that? Because this is the fastest route to Soti. Akka put on a mocking expression and muttered under his breath. The fastest route to Sote, you say? Sure, the fastest route to the afterlife. More like it. Asina heard that and quietly seethed with anger. She forced a smile and asked, Oh, are you making fun of me right now? Akka let out a sigh and said, Who in their right mind would travel across the desert just to reach Sote? Most people go around it instead. I cannot tell if you are simply foolish or if you just enjoy suffering. Even though she was absolutely furious, she could only laugh it off. Right, there was no way she could tell him she was actually on the run. Anyway, this guy is actually pretty handsome up close. What is more, his whole demeanor reminds me of someone from Grongwa. I wonder if his parents came from there. Having thought that, Asina asked curiously, What about you then? Where were you before this? Akka answered, Sote. She looked surprised and excited. Really? So do you think I can reach Soti within a week? Akka smirked. A week, you say? At your pace, you would probably end up buried somewhere along the way instead. Asina's face twitched as she continued cursing him silently. This jerk keeps looking down on me. My enthusiasm is far greater than any average person you know. Ah, whatever. I just met someone from Soti. That means I am heading in the right direction after all. I will make it to Sote within a week. So I can finally relax now. Well, goodbye then. I have to get going. It was nice meeting you. Akka asked, taken aback. You are really going to Sote? Asina answered confidently. Yes, I will not die out there, so do not worry about me. Well then, farewell, I am off now. Akka remained frozen, staring blankly at her. Unable to bring himself to leave, he quietly followed close behind her, leaving Asina feeling bewildered and awkward. Hey, why are you following me? Caught in the act, Akka froze for a solid 5 seconds and deliberately looked away, pretending not to notice. I am not following you at all. I just have my own business to attend to, so pay me no mind. Realizing just how stubborn he was being, Asina could only feel irritated and sigh inwardly. Good grief, how am I supposed to relax with you tagging along like this? And so, the two of them ended up traveling together across a long, sprawling stretch of the vast desert. Back at the Imperial Palace. My lord, I have split the Azemi into 3 units and sent them to the capital, Anpetsion and Saza, while the rest of the unit remains on standby. A brief introduction to the Azemi. In Petsion, there are 7 military units under the direct command of the Jiakun, and among those 7, the Azemi is the fastest and most agile of them all. Back to the scene, Karim could not stop fretting and pestering him. Sihat, are you absolutely certain you want to go in person? I could go in your place. Before he could even finish speaking, Sihat shot him a terrifying glare and said in a low, firm voice, Karim? Faced with his sheer resolve, Karim had no choice but to bow his head and comply. Sihat added further, I may be gone for quite a long while, so pay especially close attention to security around the palace. Karim bowed respectfully. Yes, my lord. Sihat immediately leapt onto his warhorse with cool determination, then bid farewell. I am off now. While escorting him, Karim could not help but ask, Do you have any idea where you are headed, my lord? Sihat answered firmly, I suppose I do, in fact. If you were that woman, Karim, where would you go? Karim thought it over for a moment before answering. I am not entirely sure, my lord. She is a hard woman to predict, but perhaps she has fled somewhere that would be extremely difficult to find. Sihat's eyes flashed with sharp intensity as he answered his own question. The desert. She is a clever, resourceful woman, and she does not know the meaning of fear either. Even though she nearly died out there once already, I am certain she has gone back there once again. And then the great city gates slowly creaked open, and Sihat, along with the Azemi forces, galloped off at full speed. In his heart, he silently vowed to catch that woman, all while recalling the moments the two of them had shared together. There is no bond deep enough between us for me to have developed any real feelings for her. I am simply using her for my own purposes, so why do these emotions keep shaking me to my very core? Either way, there is only one thing I can do right now. I will capture, with my own hands, the very woman who has imprisoned me within this hell of feelings. Please help me out with a subscribe to catch the next part and other exciting videos as well. Thank you all so much.